As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaking it.
Oh, I could lick you all day long.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
What?
How's it going, everyone? Thank you for being flexible. I apologize for the 5-minute delay. Had a crazy busy day, but I am glad to see you all here. Man, you guys came loaded with the comments in the chat. Holy shit. Episode 61 of the Comic Shop Talk. How is everyone doing? It's Friday night. I got Willie the Groundhog here by my side. He's glad to be here too. So hail to the chat. What's going on, guys? Let's get some introductions right off the bat. Vince Womack, what's up, dude? Cody Guy, Brian Yoder. Yes, hey, don't worry, man. You'll be right in time. Dehelm29, what's up, dude? The Peter Venkman fan site. Hello. What's going on, guys? Thank you for being here early. Nice to see all the familiar faces right away. Jacob Ironside, what's up? Yeah, nice beaver. I see what you did there. Nice beaver. Chris Mead, what's up, Chris Mead? All right, guys, we're gonna come in, bring these boys in swinging, and with Clobbering Times. What's up, Clobby?
What's up, buddy? How you doing? Hello, everybody out there in the chat. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as always, sir. Nice to see you here,
this bitch, man. Let's clobber this thing,
dude.
bud.
Oh, we're gonna. That's gonna be a fun one. We started slightly earlier, because we're covering an extra issue, and it seems like that was a good decision. Not just because we're covering the extra issue, but it's nice to also get the show going a little sooner too. So
sure.
Not a bad thing whatsoever. But no, glad to be here with you, Clobby, as always.
Thank you.
It's be fun to talk about these issues because I'm a lot more enthusiastic about these particular issues than the first 4. So. Should be fun. All right. Let's bring in Fenrir the Ice Wolf. How are you, sir?
Hey.
Whoa. Oh, man. What are you guys doing here in my room? Sorry about that. Can I offer you a drink or something to eat? Of course, I can't give it to you, but, you can always watch me eat it. But, yeah, how's it going? Don't forget that. How's it going, guys?
It's going, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Nice. Well, welcome, sir. You ready to talk about some Nova tonight?
Oh, yes, I am. I most certainly am.
My man. All right. Awesome. Oh, I see. Man of War 665, the neighbor of the beast. How are you, sir? Hello to you, Monkey Jeebus. All right. Let's bring in, of course, the man who keeps the show fresh and interesting and keeps it all sorts of awesome, the builder of things, especially a lover of big toys, the Iron Cast.
Especially robots.
Hello.
How's it going? Nova, I like it. How you doing, Caster? How's your week been?
Oh, it is doing great. And someone was just kind of texting me that apparently in town there is a little comic convention this weekend. So I guess I got to go to that.
I guess you gotta go to that, boo-boo. You gotta go. You know what they say, boo-boo.
Darn, I just hate to go.
Oh, no. How will you survive and not go?
My poor wallet.
Thing. My poor host. Well, that's a whole other conversation. Well, dude, glad to have you here, man. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be badass. Talking some Nova issues 5 through 9. Of course, let's bring in our 3-week guest for this show, Mr. D. Bud Martin.
Hey, good evening, Nick. How's it going?
Good evening to you, sir. It's going. How are you?
A little hectic day, but ready to talk some Nova.
Nice. I like it. That's what I like to hear, man. It's going to be a very fun book to talk about. This Nova. As I said to Clobby earlier, I'm feeling a lot more enthusiastic about these middle issues compared to the first 4, which the first 4 are pretty good. But I feel like it definitely is starting to heat up with these ones. But we're not going to go into all detail right away because, well, I'm going to have you guys talk about issue 5 first. So I'm sure Pablo will be here soon. We got the chat all up in here, but no, let's give everyone a few minutes before we dive into these issues. Clawby, why don't we have you tell everyone what you got going up on your channel in the next few days, so we can get people refreshed and reaffirmed on what's going on your channel, so we give people a chance to come on in.
Well, obviously, this August and every August is Jack Kirby month. I celebrate the King of Comics. I've been doing it ever since I've been doing the show, way before I was on YouTube. And I have some that other than when I do my Star Trek show or something like that, obviously, and some of the stuff on the Clubhouse. But for the most part, it's all wall-to-wall Kirby all month. Although we will have celebrate Gene Roddenberry's birthday as well, because it's the month of the two greatest creators ever. But so so Mondays and Monday Night Marksy Comic Talk, and even on my Wild Card Wednesday nights, I'll be doing and even on Jack Kirby's birthday, which will be a Sunday on the 28th, I will be celebrating Jack the King in various ways. I've got a few things planned. There'll be a classic, at least 2 classic Kirby comics will be reviewed, and of course many other different things. It's always trying to mix it up and not do the exact same as things I did the year before, you know. So just a lot of that. Of course, tomorrow night, Saturday Night Star Trek, we're reviewing Deep Space Nine and having a blast.
Nice, dude. Awesome. See,
Always
good to hear that.
Always, by the way, always 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless
You heard the man.
unless there's a special event or something.
All right. Caster, you got a new show going on your channel too. Why don't you talk about that show really quick?
Yeah. So in the last few weeks, I've been doing some odd streams here or there, and I've been kind of leaning more into not wanting to just go into complaining about everything that's been going on. You know, like, does anyone want the 20th stream to complain about whatever the current Marvel thing is? I don't think so. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's still fun to watch, and I still listen. I don't want to be the 23rd video in someone's YouTube feed for that.
Or like 300.
Yeah. So I wanted to, go for the more positive stuff. The happy stuff. Like, what are the things we're excited about? Tonight's a perfect example of that. And also, I love a terrible name. So on Monday nights, I started what I'm calling the Positiva stream, because I want to bring some more positivity.
I like it. See,
so for about
Nice.
For about an hour, hour and a half, I figured, hey, let's talk about Pokemon for a little bit. Let's talk about what's coming up. What what is there for passion that we're all having? Those things that people the thing that you enjoy that you might not get a chance to talk about a lot. So I want to kind of open that up to bring in people to talk about whatever they like. Do we want to talk about the Toxic Avenger for a night? Let's do that.
All right, dude. Hell yeah, man. That's what I like to hear. That's what's up. All right, killer. Well, you know what, guys? Let's go for it. Let's take our dive right in, and let's talk about Nova number 5, aka The Man Called Nova. That's what the book was called. And I see Phil Baggins. How you doing? Nice to see you here. Let's get rolling here. Where is... Okay. The Man Called Nova, number 5. All right. So, you know what? Well, Ironcaster, why don't you go first about this issue?
All right, first off, I want to point out that, I love the fact that it's a big giant robot with a pompadour.
Yeah,
Ironcaster likes robots?
Well, there's something we kind of... Nicholas?
Yeah.
I think there's something, and we should have kind of started this last week, but I think there needs to be something we do before we start, if you don't mind, if you'll indulge me.
And what would that be?
There was one of the things that when you were growing up reading these comics in the 70s is each Marvel comic on the splash page opened with a little introduction. So, and as a kid, you always looked at it, even though you saw it every time. And I think, if you wouldn't mind, I think we have a certain visitor here who's joining us from the great beyond who'd like to read that to you right now.
I would
Like-
love that.
They always, they would tell about that comic. So when Richard Rider, teenager, was blasted by a light bolt from beyond the stars, he suddenly found himself transformed into one of the most powerful men on Earth, invulnerable, able to fly at Nova speed, stronger than any 10 men. The young high school student donned the costume of his alien benefactor to become a champion of justice. Stan Lee, present a comic character that had nothing to do with the man called Nova, with Morph Wolfman, writer, editor, Sal Buscema, and Tom Palmer, the artist, Jay as in John Costanza, letterer, and Michelle Wolfman as the colorist. True believers. Tonight's story, Evil is the Earthshaker. Sorry.
I know, dude. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
I
that
do
was
like reading
amazing,
those
man.
little intro boxes.
Stan had to help us out.
I'm thankful you did that. Thank you. Hell yeah,
And
man.
great touch with the voice. I mean, I would have done Ted Knight, but great touch, dude, with Stan Lee there.
Well,
was
since
very
I
fitting for the
created it and
period.
did it all myself, I thought it would be best. True believer.
All right. Well,
It was all
Caster,
smiling Stan.
big robots and all. Where you at on this issue?
I mean, this issue was a delight. I will say, just kind of from the outset, it's like just for where we get at the end of the book. But we're starting out with Richard Rider going on the double date, going to see King Kong, but he's got his head elsewhere, where you would think, hey, he's a teenager at the drive-in. Put two and two together. But I mean, I really like this one ultimately for the sort of, I don't want to say fourth wall break it is, to the point where we have the actual editorial team, working on this book in the book as a feature of it. Where, to kind of get into a little bit, Nova hears over the radio that, hey, the Marvel offices want to meet Nova because they want to see about doing a comic book with him. Which, for all of you true believers out there who may not necessarily know, in the Marvel universe, there is a Marvel comic book. There is a Marvel comic company.
Yep.
And
He's right.
in fact, these comics are actually admissible in court in this universe as evidence. Per She-Hulk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The John Byrne run mentioned it too. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Anything else you got, Caster?
Yeah, no, I love if actually that second panel on the left page there is actually, I'm glad you opened up right up to that, because here you have Marv Wolfman and Buscema.
Sal Buscema.
Thank you. Saying, I've drawn those things as the Moloids are attacking New York. He's like, I've drawn those things 1,000 times, but I've never believed them. I've never believed them. They're real till now. I'm seeing it. I still don't believe it.
I mean, how would you go with that?
And this is what I look forward to. I love this issue. This is probably my favorite of the lot, just because it's kind of lighthearted at the same time as being this, big action of our heroic looking villain who looks like he should be Flash Gordon, wanting to just pull a mole man heist. Like, we're gonna bring the surface cities down to the underworld, and I'm gonna rule them with a big robot.
Kill me.
That's all the thought process we need.
There you go.
All right.
I mean, back then they just
You okay there, Fender? You stopped.
I'm just laughing at the fact of how weirdly creative and insane the old supervillain plans were.
Yep.
It's just funny.
Wait, you're calling Tyrannus insane?
Tyrannus is insane.
Just because he's massively narcissistic and goofy?
I'll be completely honest. Until this comic, I've never heard of Tyrannus. This was like
Same here.
villain for me.
He dates back to Incredible Hulk number 6.
Yeah,
He's a Kirby creation, but he's
or
he's
5. I think it's 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
6. But he was the first. Yeah, 5. You're right. It's 5. Oh man, my number is bad. But he was the
bad on numbers. You know that.
terrible on numbers. You know that. You're right. He was. He's a Kirby creation. He's the first villain Nova fights really that's not made from whole cloth for the series.
Like I like his design. I think it's I like the look of him as a character, and he's one I would want to see more of.
I agree.
Well, he's been around a little bit,
but it does make me wonder what happens to the Mole Man.
Yeah, right.
They used to
they butt heads all the time. Tyrannus and the Mole Men are, as he states in this book, arch enemies. They're both out to rule the world from underneath it.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Tyrannus is almost as old as the Mole Man. I mean, like I said, it's early issues of Hulk.
Hey, we're talking old as age-wise or canonically wise?
He's way older, yeah.
He's way older age-wise because he's actually from like Roman times.
Right.
But he was not too long after. I mean, it was Hulk number 5, so it's pretty close
to that far after the old man.
Number 1. Yeah, it's not too long afterwards.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, he's a pretty old villain.
So I since I just kind of caught it I was reminded of it at the end. I also like the sort of A story of Nova at the Marvel offices, like there within all the chaos of them, like you're late on Tomb of Dracula, and we gotta get this book out.
Oh yeah, there's on. I think there's one panel in there where he's handing. He's got the editor has a piece of artwork. Goes to Tom Palmer, who's the inker of this issue, and it says that who yesterday. It's something like that.
Oh man!
You know what?
Yeah.
Well, we're at it.
Need yesterday, yes.
D-Bud, why don't you speak out on this issue?
Yeah, this is more of it's a nice standalone, fun issue. Like I say, I mean, Tyrannus is just, to me, he's a really corny villain. He's one of the cornier ones because he's just so incredibly narcissistic. At the end, Nova stops him he's about to punch him in the face, and he's like, "Not the face,
not the face,
not my beautiful face." that's enough to get him to stop. Yeah. It's enough to get him to stop his plan to take over the entire world. It's just don't smash my face.
Right.
But yeah, I love all this old, Marvel bullpen stuff. And it even says in the notes there, this was around the time of Fantastic Four number 176, where the Fantastic Four winds up in the Marvel offices in the same way. You meet a bunch of the staff there, and it's a lot of
Impossible Man.
Yep, Impossible Man issue. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite issues of FF.
Yeah, it's just a
176.
Yeah, and so this one is kind of fun. I mean, he's just a corny villain, but I kind of like it with Nova himself in this. He starts to get a little more savvy when he's fighting, like you see in these panels here. He figures out, I can't. If I just go back up that way, that robot's going to stomp me again. So I'll just drill down and go behind it. So he's thinking a little bit, and he's trapped a little earlier in this. And it starts vibrating a bit. And he goes, hey, if I try and vibrate myself faster and get out of this thing. So I like that he's starting to strategize a little bit more and think as he's fighting. So he's getting a little smarter in his battling here. But this is a nice breather before the coming issues, because the rest of what we're going to do tonight is kind of a wild ride for him.
Yeah.
So this, but this is fun. I mean, like I said, Tyrannus he's just a cornball to me.
I think this is honestly a standalone issue I wouldn't mind owning.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Just because it's not. I mean, a lot of those comics were kind of fairly standalone, but they might have their own little their own storylines they're building. This feels self-contained enough that I could hand this to anyone and they could enjoy it, because it's got this bit where Nova's explaining how his powers work to the writers of his own comic.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah, it'd be a good intro comic for him.
Yeah. Killer.
Of course, it ultimately ends with Stan Lee deciding, no, we're not gonna go with this Nova character. He's too young.
Yeah,
we're gonna
same
go
guy
with
who created
we're gonna go with
Spider-Man.
the $1 Million Mouse instead.
No doubt a Howard the Duck reference.
Oh, bad. Nah, killer. Will that be all, Sir D-Bud?
Yes.
Killer. Well, we're going to bring in our boy Pablo here. As always, he does his own introduction. Howdy ho!
Hey, what's up?
Always good to see you,
Hey, buddy.
man. Welcome. You're right on time for the show, dude. Welcome. How's everything been?
Oh, I'm working on a webpage that is taking too long, so I will be for a short period today, but I wanted to
Okay.
talk about this issue. God
Okay,
damn.
that's fine, man. We'll take whatever time with you we can get.
You're busy eating all those Kentacos.
Oh, yeah, the
Oh.
Kentako.
That was not terrible, I will say. I enjoyed the Kentako more than I thought. At the beginning, I was like, this is gonna suck. It was actually tasty. It was hot. The cheese was on point. The lettuce and everything else was just there. And the chicken was still moist and everything. So it worked. For Kentucky Fried Chicken, it worked. That was weird.
That sounds like something you need to try, Nick.
I'll try it. You know me. I give it a shot. Why not? I give it a shot. I'm curious. I'm interested. I mean, it's a Kentako. I'm sure it'll be average. If I had to guess, it'll probably be average. But hey, you never know. I may end up thinking it's something more than just that. So, killer. All right. No, Kentakos and all, which I want to talk about, but that'll be a topic for another day. Thank you for being here, Pablo. We're gonna keep the show rolling, and we're gonna have Fenrir talk about Nova number 5.
All right then. All right, I'll say I really enjoyed this issue on its own. It is, as many of the others already pointed out, and pretty much what I'm going to say is pretty much a repetition. It is good. The pacing is fine. As a great introduction of the character and his information in a quick and moderated way, so new viewers can just read it and, well, pretty much just understand what's going on. And I enjoyed its breaking of the fourth wall in itself, and how pretty much he tried to sell his own image and got shit on. Pretty funny for the guys that have been there. But yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, it was a good one. I give it at least a 9.5 out of 10, mainly because this makes me think a lot of things, as Beyond Yoda out there put out in the comments section, how villains always get their plans full but never repeat them for some reason. But yeah, I did enjoy this. The villains, how can I explain it without sounding crazy or crazier? They fail once, but don't repeat it. But don't repeat it again. It's just doesn't make sense to me. These plans, man, they're just
you know what they say
too
about the definition
crazy.
of insanity, Fenrir?
Yeah, but
Go
these
ahead, Ken.
plans, man, they're just too. Man, how are they not high when making them?
Trust me, they are.
Marv Wolfman was high when he wrote this.
Seriously,
It was the
9.5 out of
60s.
10.
It was the 60s. Everything was drugged.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
Well, the mid-70s, but they were
Mid
still
70s here, but still, it was still.
Yeah.
It's all drugs.
Definitely. Will that be
So-
it, Fenrir?
Yeah, that's about it. Honestly, you guys pretty much said it all on your own.
All good, man. I know I didn't have Pablo go. Did I get I got D-Bud, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I think it was
clobbering.
just Clobby.
Dude, this is one of my favorite. It was probably my favorite issue of the whole run. I remember back. It's funny how I know I bought it a little bit before this issue came out, a couple of issues before, but this is the one that stands out in my mind the most because of meeting Marv Wolfman and Sal Buscema, as he calls him, and he goes, "That's Buscema," as in that's how I learned to pronounce the Buscema's name is because of this comic book. I always thought it was Buscema, and of course, just for some reason, when I was a kid, and all the silliness with at Marvel Comics again. D-Bud rightly mentions Fantastic Four 176, a Roy Thomas and Perez issue where they go to the Marvel offices, and this is similar to that. That was one of the greatest. That was a really great issue of that. But this, it's a lot of fun. See Marv Wolfman and Sal Buscema poking fun at the Marvel offices. They go in there to see John Reporton and Roy Thomas and Archie Goodwin and Tom Palmer, all these people in there, and which is a lot of fun. Of course, great starts off with a great Kirby cover. So using a Kirby villain, again the first villain not created for this series, Tyrannus, who is a dopey villain. I'm with D, but he's one of the cornball villains. He's not a heavy hitter. There's a reason why he doesn't have Doctor Doom name recognition, or Green Goblin or Magneto name recognition. He's a dope, and the Hulk, hands him his ass all the time. Even the Fantastic Four did a couple of times. So yeah, it's funny how they're out in the park, and of course wackiness ensues when that stupid machine comes to them with the dumb face on it right there. It's just pure, ridiculous, silly fun. This is a magnificent job on the visuals again by the team of Buscema, as in the little brother Sal and Tom Palmer. They do just a marvelous job here. I really love. Again, I have issues with Tom Palmer on some stuff, but sometimes on Sal, at least on this series, it's just a perfect combination. So, great fun action, just not too serious of an issue. And of course, none of the issues are all that serious with some of the camp aspects we've got going on, but this one, yeah, it's just it's the most fun issue they've done. The stuff with Stan at the end, which, by the way, he wasn't really at the Marvel offices much at that point. But anyway, when he turns down Nova because he's not experienced enough, are you forgetting about Spidey? But okay, sure, whatever, Stan. But it's always played for laughs. I even love the stuff about how, in the Marvel comics inside the Marvel universe, they don't write the stories. They have people follow the superheroes around. Like they mentioned, Marv Wolfman's other book at the time, Tomb of Dracula, and he said, "Well, they said your Drac script is late. Where is it?" Well, I got my buddy, my guy that follows Dracula around over there, hasn't checked in with me for a while yet. And we may have to, we may have to put a fill in or something, And yeah, that was great. Roy Thomas gets poked at fun at. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
I just love that concept. There's someone just who follows Dracula around to write comic
calls
books
in
around
Marvel
him.
Wolfman, yeah. Oh, I'm just so silly. I love it too. It's great, and just so much fun because you got to figure, well, they've got comic books. It'd be kind of weird though. Just like that's why Alan Moore theorized in Watchmen that if there really were superheroes, that there wouldn't be superhero comic books. Everyone would be like cowboys and pirates and stuff like that because they're actually more rare. But still, it's fun. And yeah, just again a lovely issue. Again, great art, which is the highlight for me with a lot of these issues of Nova. When you go back, Marv's scripting still is Marv's scripting for this series and his writing, but this was a fun but goofy plot. Yeah, one of my favorite issues.
Awesome, killer dude.
And I was very disappointed. By the way, I just wanted to say I was very disappointed at the time that we never got to see Midas the $1 Million Mouse #1.
If only. If only,
you probably didn't have enough money in your allowance to buy it at the time anyway, so you still would have been disappointed.
I could have got it. I probably wouldn't have bought that. Good.
All right, killer. Pablo, this is all for you, man.
Hey, I actually enjoyed that issue so much. I will begin on the ending, but I thought that was a critique on Stan Lee. He was always trying to be the centerpiece, the star. So there's stories about him rejecting projects that he had no input in. And I thought that him rejecting Nova was just on point. Was just Wolfman and Bushima taking a piece on him, and my God, that's brilliant. The fact, as Clovis said, he was not always on Marvel. He was barely on Marvel at all. And when Nova asked, "Hey, is Stan here?" No, he's gone. He's doing something else. Then he was supposed to be back again. Ah, no, he left again. It's like, yeah, that sounds like they were taking a hard piece to Stan, and it worked. It was brilliant. Then Tyrannus, what a weird character. His mindset is, I will destroy the world on the surface because I want to create caverns. Just dig a bit more, and you can have a parallel society going down, and at one point you can take over the society on the surface. You don't need to actually go to the surface and bury it. That's kind of dumb. Also, you are creating a new surface, so kind of self-defeating in a way.
Exactly. These plans are drug fueled.
Yeah, he's completely stupid, man. I was laughing at that. He has this huge mecha using nuclear power, and what does he does? Make caves. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, buddy, you do you.
I mean, that alone. I mean, he
It
could.
was
I mean,
bonkers.
seriously, he just could have done more. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and the
That's
fact that
Tyrannus.
uh,
He's just a nutcase.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Nova was talking to Wolfman and Bushima about how he is impervious to almost all low level weaponry. He can take a blast, he can take a bullet, but he was like, a torpedo might take me down. And then he takes the twin drills directly to the face and is like, I just need a moment to breathe. Really, man? Those are worse than torpedoes. You tell yourself. Need Do you need a PR team? It might.
Oh, hey, Phantom Monster. Hail, chat. Was that Tyrannus, the guy who wanted to rule the world but couldn't afford a shirt? Oh, I needed that for a laugh. Thank you, Phantom
Oh,
Outsider.
man.
Oh, that was good.
Just saw it before you put it up.
It
Oh.
was everything on that issue was so over the top and so just charming.
Mhm.
Is Those are the moments when you see actually the writers just enjoying themselves, because normally they are trying to have a conflict and have a fight and some drama here and there, something to move the story along. But they didn't do anything particular. They were telling on the news, "Hey, we want to meet Nova," and Nova just goes, "All right." Secret identity,
Yep.
something about, no, he's just,
It was on the news for some reason.
I mean, you're forgetting one thing. Again, insane. Plus, he just went. We can't really forget. He's a teenager. He's still stupid. So yeah, he'd
also,
actually respond to that.
if you think about it, Spidey tried to do the same, and the reason why he could not get into TV was because he needed to reveal his secret identity. At this point, Marvel Comics is just like, yeah, we don't care. We may pay you cash. Okay,
Yeah. We'll just put Spider-Man on the check. It'll be okay.
yeah. Man, all this stuff is so bonkers. I love it so much.
So crazy.
Yeah,
It's just so good. It's like the Silver Age Batman stuff, where it's Batman, but you just laugh at it because it's just good.
yeah, that silliness, that campiness that is in this comic is just pure old school comics, and taking a piece of Marvel Comics as a whole. Yes, Clovis say there's somebody following Dracula, but think about the poor guy that has to follow the Hulk. The
Oh,
Hulk
man.
starts running and jumping, and this guy, what is he doing in a bike? Like, just
Yeah.
wait up.
That I'd like to see how that happens.
Yeah, it's so many things that could go wrong, and how do Marvel pays for these guys to follow superheroes?
Well, I know for one. I know for one thing is they said that that they actually don't follow the FF around or something like the Avengers. Who just talk to them about it and ask what's happening. They actually correspond with them. But obviously,
Yeah,
Dracula's
when it comes to guys like the Hulk, how does that
Dracula's
work?
not the kind of guy that's gonna do that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, boss. I totally follow the Hulk around. No. Don't worry. I'm just gonna hang out at the bus stop.
yeah,
No, he calls, yeah, I lost him. How do you lose a naked guy that is huge and green?
He jumped.
And Pablo in that FF 176 that D-Bud referred to, they were sitting in the offices, and Kirby and Lee were there with George Perez and Roy Thomas, and they didn't have a story for the new issue of FF. And Jack said, "Why don't you just make something up?" Go, what? Make something up? We can't do that. Stan got mad.
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
Man, those are the moments when you see the brilliance of these guys, and actually the funny that they were, and the amount of issues that they had between them, because they were not portraying Stan Lee as the best character, but they didn't think highly of him. He was more like an antagonistic figure to any comic book writer at that point. So having all those jabs, it it just works, and it just reveals what it was going there. So I love it.
Believe me, if he didn't like it, it wouldn't have got printed. He wasn't really. They wouldn't have do anything that was. He had a, whatever else I think about him, he had a sense of humor and he could take a joke. So yeah.
At this point, he was full on editor, right?
Say again.
He was a full on editor.
He was still publisher at this point, I think. So which means he didn't do anything.
But yeah, he will have suppressed anything that he disliked, and that's part of the joke. He's the stories that come from when Kirby was around and such. If he didn't like a character that he thought it doesn't have enough of my input, or it doesn't go with other characters that I have even quote unquote created, but because some of them were Kirby's, he was like, "Oh, it doesn't work. Scrap it or change it or whatever." So them having Stanley going, "Nah, you are not fit for this. You are too young." Just perfect.
He might have been in California at that point. I think he may have already moved to California. I can't remember. It was around that time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really like having Stan at the end of this being the one to shoot this all down, where it kind of felt like it was kind of this build up to eventually getting to see Stan Lee in the comic.
I was really hoping to see him, and at the end, I was really glad.
It was a throwback because they used to do that, and even in the early issues in the Silver Age, have Stan and Jack would show up in comics a lot.
Yeah,
in the early issues of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they first did it in Fantastic Four number 10.
Number 9, right?
10, yeah. Did Dr. Doom.
They got kicked out of the wedding.
Oh, that was it. No, that was the wedding. Yeah,
that was the annual. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantastic Four 10 was the first time they showed up in the comic, and he goes to the Marvel Comics.
They're on the cover.
They're
on the cover.
All right.
And I really love this issue. But yeah, that's what I have on it. I just enjoy it. Every part of the silliness, every part of them taking a piece of themselves, the company, at Stan, the way that Nova doesn't even know his powers is just fun. It's crazy fun. Maybe they should have gone more on this tone, because in the next issues, it's gonna get dark. And after this one, I was just hoping something equally as
For some
bright.
wholesomeness.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that, dude. Man. Well freaking said, Pablo. I'm not gonna be able to top you, but at least I'll give it a very good college try, as they like to say, to at least undermatch it. Anyways, I mean, like everyone else on the panel, this issue is super fun. It's super wholesome, very accessible. So it gets a lot of points right out the bat by way of accessibility. And of course, I mean, the art is absolutely awesome to look at too. I mean, that's something I feel like I'm surprised we haven't said too much of here, but the art is absolutely great on this issue. And Tyrannus is a very ridiculous villain. I mean, for all the crap I gave Condor about having a tail soup, at least his personality made up for it. Tyrannus' personality doesn't even make up for it because he comes from looking as mighty alpha ruler to mighty don't hurt my handsome face with near the end of the issue. But still great though. Still great. And of course the whole Nova meeting with the Stan, Sal. Seeing Sal and Marv observe the battle, hiding, running away, asking questions, looking for reference and inspiration. Absolutely awesome stuff. I was like, this is freaking great. And I love anytime when Marvel Comics can acknowledge Marvel Comics. And that was something that they definitely love to do every now and again back in the day. So always a big treat for me to see when issues like that happen. So obviously, like everyone else on this panel, this issue fits right perfectly. I would say nearly in the middle because it's issue 5. So it kind of takes a break from what happened in the first 4 issues before it dives kind of right back in to what is to come with 6 through 9. So it's a nice breather, let off the brakes a little. So I feel like this issue was meant to do that too. To be a one and done story, that's still also part of a great picture. So you do get the benefits of both worlds within that. And we got some comments going to read here. Christian Dorf said, did somebody say huge? Can we get a huge in the chat? Let's see huge. And then Christian Dwarf for $5 Canadian says Slayer. Huge. Thanks, Christian. I cannot wait to meet that man in a few weeks in person. That is going to be, wait for it, huge. All right. So, yeah, The Man Called Nova number 5. That was freaking awesome. Seriously. I love that issue, dudes. And I can't wait to talk about number 6, where, well, the story gets huge-er. Because, like, Bava wants to know what is going on with issue number 6.
Huge ass.
Well, Bava. And this is where you see this is basically like Nova dealing with the Sinister 6 cut in half. This is basically Nova versus the Sinister 3 for him because you got Condor, Diamond Head, and Powerhouse. And for this issue, I will let D-Bud, I'll let you do the lead off on this one.
Oh yeah, this is kind of starts off a nice long run of stories that kind of run all together. So like we were talking about how the last one was a nice breather. Well, you need it for these next issues. And starts off right away. You finally meet the Sphinx, who's the dreaded one that they've been talking about for the earlier issues. And you meet him and his sidekicks, Kerr and Sage. And apparently he also knows, like, I think like Andy Masterson or something, because he managed to get this custom chess set made. It looks really nice. So
shout out to Andy Masterson.
I'm thinking Andy had something to do with that. Yeah.
Do notice you've never seen the Sphinx and Andy Masterson in the room at the same time.
Yep.
The threatening 3.
Yeah,
well said, Brian.
one.
That was good. Carry on, D-Bud. Sorry, that was good.
Now this is, I mean, it kind of explains a little bit of who the Sphinx is, but just a little. It's just giving you a taste. We will learn more later. And and you get more on another YouTube personality, where you finally see what happened with Caps, and apparently he runs into Undoomed.
I see what you did there.
Wow, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did think
Wow.
about that. I'm like,
My goodness.
Undoomed. Hello, Master of the TDS. How are you doing? Thanks for dropping in here.
Yeah, so this, I mean, with that, you've got kind of a bit of setup here that's going to carry through these next few issues that we're actually going to be reviewing tonight, where it's setting up what's happened to Caps. You're just getting a little bit of a taste to see this person's without a face, and he's basically going to kill Caps by letting him drown. But then it also rolls into where you get the backs of back to with Condor and Diamond Head, where they met at the end of issue 3, and it kind of follows along with what happened with them, and they're breaking Powerhouse out, and and like I said, they're going to have this confrontation with Nova. So I mean, this is really just a first act, though. I mean, this is all just building up to what's going to happen in the next few issues. And I like the way that Wolfman kind of did this, where he's setting it all up, and you get a lot more in the following issues. But the other thing on this is Nova's kind of having, you see, he's kind of having a bit of fun with, he's blasting through some people and really feeling his oats as far as using his powers. And then he's running into these guys, and of course Powerhouse is able to ultimately really be the one to take him down. And Condor uses the old mind control machine bit on him. And I love what happens as you get to the end of this book, where they've got him mind controlled, and what does he do? Nova says, "Well, I'm the boss now. I'm taking over this gang." And it's complete. You wouldn't expect that sort of turnaround with a mind control story. Usually they're just a puppet, and it gets completely flips your expectation, and he turns out saying, "Hey, I'm the powered one here. I'm taking control of this gang." So I mean, it's a lot of this is just, it's set up to me. It's just building up to this next issue that's really going to put a lot more meat into the story. So that's kind of how I felt this issue was going. It's just setting that up, but it has a lot of good action in it with their breaking Powerhouse out, and then when they first they get into this confrontation with Nova as he fights them again, and it takes Powerhouse again to take him down. Right.
I'm assuming that is your wrap up then.
Yes.
Killer. All right, so I guess I'll go with this one. I mean, I'm going to be echoing a few of the statements, but I really, once again, I love that we get exposition, but we also get answers too. And this issue actually gives us a little bit of both. So we now know what's going on cast. We learned who's behind it, and it's also someone you don't expect too. So this is like, whoa, that's kind of a huge deal type of thing. And of course, you got now this whole thing with Nova and his 3 enemies. He's now already made. He already has enemies, guys. And yes, I love how the outcome happens of what they're trying to do with the mind, with his mind programming. Well, I like as much as the stuff going on with Powerhouse, because Powerhouse is so conflicted. He's not exactly a great guy, but he does not want to be involved in this stuff. But it's like he owes a debt to Condor, but he just wants out of that picture, even though like a part of him knows like, man, this shit ain't cool. But I guess I'm gonna do it anyway. So because I kind of have to, otherwise Condor is gonna whoop my ass. Man, and Condor, I love Condor in this issue as well, because the dude is, man, you want to talk about a guy who is trying to be drunk on power. He's like, I'm not drunk on power yet. I'm trying to get there. So you better help my ass get there immediately. All right, Powerhouse, you shut up and listen to me. Class is in session type of thing. So I love what's going on there. And of course, we got answers with who is the dreaded one. So, and of course, I freaking love the pencil work going on. Love the coloring. I love that there's even action amongst the exposition too. I feel like this issue took a lot. It had a lot going on between the reveals, the expo, and the action, and yet somehow it all worked. No, it doesn't feel jumbled. It doesn't feel like a mess. You could still understand it. And it flows all well. So for me, I mean, it's like you definitely, if you're someone who's jumped in with the Man Called Nova #1, you get some payoff, but at the same time you get more stuff of what's to come. So yeah, a really, really awesome issue. And I'm gonna pass this one off to Fenrir.
All righty then. Okay, how do I describe? Okay, I'm gonna keep this one very short because I'm trying to look out for the words to describe this entire story, and they're just failing me. Okay, the whole previous one just kind of broke me. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not that it's bad. It is a good story. I enjoyed reading it. It was fun. But for some reason, you ever just look at something just think, it's a 7. You don't know why, but it's just a 7. I'm sorry, it just is.
I've had that for some issues. For me, not this one. But go ahead, go on.
But yeah, it is enjoyable. But still, just a 7. So yeah, I'm gonna drop it to you guys because the words fail me. This is all.
Okay, killer, absolutely killer. All right, I don't think Clobbern went. No, Clobby, this one's for you, man.
Okay. Well, here we go. Starting out with the one of the big, basically one of the big character threads that Marv Wolfman will be carrying with him so long that it'll outlast the series. The Sphinx. We find out who the dreaded one is. The Sphinx. He'll be around him for a long time. Not spoiling anything. It's just Wolfman had a lot of long range plans for him. You can tell that he did not get a chance to fully complete in this series. So it's expect to see him every now and then. He even makes an appearance in other comics, but appearances in other comics, I should say. A fantastic job again by Sal and Tom, especially. I have to hand it. I mean, not Tom, Frank Giacoia. Sorry, Frank Giacoia for me is a better fit for Sal. Personally, I like what Tom Palmer restraining himself did in those other 2 issues, but I think Frank's a better fit for him. He doesn't overpower Sal. He lets Sal be himself. So I think this is an improvement to the art, even though the Tom inking was good and you can see a distinct difference. So I really love that about it. This is just a basic setup issue of where it's setting up things down the road. It's not a I kind of understand where Fenrir's coming from in the sense that its main purpose is to get the ball rolling for this story. I think it does it very well. The issue moves very well. The stuff with Caps, of course, I love this. I love how they just set you up with a cliffhanger and say, you know what? We'll bring you more on that next month. So if you want to know what's happening, you're gonna have to wait and come buy our comic again. How about that?
How about that cliffhanger?
Yeah, he'll probably drown by then, but yeah.
Yeah, what the hell? You better come back with I mean, if you want to know what happens, Buster, true believer, you better come back with your 30 cents next month, and or maybe in 35 because we're going to be having a price hike soon, just so you know. And you'll have to see. But yes, the stuff with Caps and his uncle. Well, we'll be getting to that soon. So, I think just all in all, it's a solid setup issue. And I have a whole lot like Fenrir. Fenrir, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I was kind of like, it's pretty good setup. But I think what I really enjoyed the most was Sal's work on the art. And Frank, who is he's always been an understated inker. He's underrated. He doesn't destroy pencils, but he doesn't Vince Coletta them either. I've always thought he was a pretty solid inker and a competent guy that doesn't get a lot of Frank Giacoia. I've always had trouble saying his name, Giacoia.
Jacoya.
Giacoya works for me. I'll go with the D-Bud on that one. But I've always had this weird propensity to say Giacoya when it's Giacoya. Anyway, I've always thought he was a solid inker, long-time veteran, and I think I like him better on Sal than Tom. So, good stuff.
Okay, killer. All right, Ironcaster. This is for you.
I do like this setup with the Sphinx. This kind of dynamic of him being this looming figure planning, and given where we ultimately get his backstory, he feels like ultimately something of a prototype for what would eventually become Apocalypse in Sabanur. Considering their origins are both from around the same period of time. And I like how he's got how Sage, the hooded figure, is shrouded in mystery. How just his very appearance terrifies those who gaze upon him.
Yeah, right.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. And also, I think it's funny. I'm really kind of picking up on it and realizing it now, but Diamond Head here, how ironic is it that for being someone Diamonds, another nickname for Diamonds is Ice, and yet he's a very hothead character.
Did not notice that.
Which and also the ultimate reveal that by the end of this issue, they've hypnotized, they've mind washed Nova. Now he's going to be evil. Like, we have a villain for a main character now. What?
No.
Well, they did a good twist on it, though. In that, I mean, usually they're just
that
mind
made
controlled and
it
they're
twist.
a flunky. But he's like, no, I'm powerful. I'm the boss. I like how he did that.
Condor continues to be this complete villain throughout it. That you just, I want more of this character. I like him. He's just, I'm evil. I know I'm evil. I mean, then again, so is Diamond Head, the guy who dressed up as the Red Skull as a child.
Yeah, I still can't get over that.
Yeah, he was a weird boy.
Oh, come on. If you could have had a Red Skull mask when you were trick-or-treating, you would have worn it, wouldn't you?
I
mind him.
I most like. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are killing me. Oh man, this is something else.
But
Go ahead, Caster. Good finish.
This feels like, hey, we're now into a quote unquote epic for the Nova, where we're actually getting one story that's leading directly into the next issue. Where I got to come back now. I got to see what happens next. Like, wait, Nova's now a villain, and he's with the bad guys. He's like, I'm the leader now. Hold up.
Right, that was a great twist. I feel like that ending was a great ending to make it say, nope, bros, you made me have it under control, but I'm still the leader of this shit.
I mean, also, I think ultimately, though, also for the issues we chose for tonight, it was just like a really good allotment we went with from 5 to 9. So we sort of get like all of the events of those serious 4 issues, with a taste of the more lighthearted one 5.
Yeah. Absolutely. I must say, I'll give credit to the great Dave Cochran for the great cover on this one, by the way, too. Dave Cochran and even a little Ramita, Giacoya and Ramita. I always like to credit the artist, you know.
Oh, yeah. Also, I like the art in this issue. Like, this is definitely working for me. The colorist. That's one of my. I don't really take notice of the artist or the colorist enough, and I need to be better at that. I need to do better.
You know, Ironcaster, the scan you're looking. I don't know where you read it. You have the trade.
I do.
They do use different type. They do recolor the things for the trade. Nevertheless, Michelle Wolfman was a good colorist. But of course, obviously, if you're looking at it on a newsprint copy, it looks a little bit different. But still, she did a fine job. They don't recolor, but I mean they enhance the colors. So
Also,
Well, and I like the simpler way that the color was versus like the the computerized coloring they're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
It's
where
just,
it's
too
more
fancy. This is
monotone
more,
for colors, and it's not.
And this is more simple, but it's just, to me, it's much more colorful and eye catching to me. It's,
I mean,
it's
also,
the stuff they
we
do
used to
now
call-
is a bit dull to my eye.
Yeah, and they used to call them 4-color comics. Remember?
Yeah.
It's also a benefit of these where you can, as I kind of mentioned last week, you get so much story on just like one page.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one issue alone would have been 3 issues of a modern comic.
That's so
Yes, that's true. You finish a lot of those modern comics that anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
And you know,
Ironcaster, don't exaggerate.
But you know,
It would be 7.
Yeah, because most of it would be them standing around talking about their feelings and you know, and sitting down at
And
tables
eating.
talking.
Yep.
With Condor and Diamond Head sitting there talking instead of punching things.
And with no more than four panels on a page.
I really like the way the way that those two bicker back and forth. Like, I'm the evil leader. No, I'm the evil leader.
I'm eviler than you. No. Your mom.
Oh
And-
no!
and Powerhouse is
It's
like,
an
I'm out of
entertaining
this.
back and forth. It's an entertaining back and forth. That's why. See, that's why I feel like this issue doesn't get enough credit. It's like, yeah, it's set up, but what plays out in the setup and also with the answer we get, I think is executed very well. That's why I held this issue in big regard.
Oh no! It's
Anyway,
great. I love
sorry,
it.
Caster.
No, it's
Sorry,
pretty good.
guys.
Like I said, I'm loving this. Like, if I was around in '76, you better believe I would be just like writing in, like telling Stan, like, I need the next issue of Nova.
Yeah, killer dude.
Stan
Hell
would
yeah,
say,
man.
"You'll get it for a few more issues up until issue 24, and then that's it."
I could have helped push the 25. I would have bought a copy.
All right. What's up, Dark Shadow Logan? I see you in the chat. How are you, my man? Yes, we are missing Eric K wherever he may be, but Pablo, you've been ever so patient.
Oh man, this issue. Okay, it goes places that I thought I will never say something when. For example, that faceless bad guy drowns his nephew on poop water. No, really, he ties his nephew on the sewer and he leaves him there
Yeah,
to
you're right.
drown. So
Oh my god, you just had to remember me. That's the sewers, didn't you?
Yep, poop water. Also, I felt for Condor. I really felt for Condor because when Nova and Diamond Head and Powerhouse are fighting, he's like, "Don't fight near the computer. I cannot afford another one."
The computerizer, you mean?
Well,
Yeah,
and at that panel there, he's
like-
screaming, "You morons! Don't damage
Yeah.
my computers!"
I was like, "Man, I feel you. I really do. I know you are a bad guy, but yeah, I cannot afford another computer too. So, oh, that hurts, man. That really hurts. Keep them out of your layer next time."
It was at that moment he finally understood why the villain became the villain.
He needed a new PC. With the prices of man, with the
Uh-oh.
prices of graphics cards, I don't blame him. I will go to a Life of Crime too. So, hey,
And
We
how
are in
old
the
is
same
your
team.
computer, Klobby?
Sir?
How old is your computer?
Almost as old as this comic book. You know?
Uh-oh.
Nah, it's on.
Yeah,
Nah.
so
It's not called.
don't be
I'm gonna call
surprised
it-
if Klobby snaps.
Yeah, I might call it mine a computerizer, like Connor was calling his computerizer.
yeah, Clovy, maybe you need a plan to get into outer space to get an alien PC.
I hope so, because I love how the fact, space in this comic, we were talking about coloring, is blue.
Yep.
To notice, so
Man, we get to know the Sphinx. The Sphinx is, I will say directly, the fact that every single time he sees Sage, he sees his future and he knows that he's going to lose and he's just utterly destroyed at one point. So he's like, man, cover your face. I don't want to see your face. Your face is terrifying. It reminds me that everything is futile. Go away. But he keeps Sage around. So
Yeah.
I didn't need Vince Womack reminding me how old I am because when I first was programming computers, I did punch cards.
Man, so that's so funny. He decides just to keep the guy that reminds him that he's gonna fail utterly just because. And it's not because he has a pretty face, because we know he fears his face. So why does he do that? I have no idea, but keep your fears closer, I guess. Seeing that actually the Sphinx has something that he's trying to achieve is interesting. In the next issue we will know more about this character, but in this issue we just know that he has a plan and he's chasing something. uh, that's pretty interesting. I don't know how we went from a guy that looks like the Vulture but in color swap and with an afro to the Sphinx, but it works. And having the Condor trying to be the one to destroy the Sphinx also really works. The fact that he is willing to go to any length and try to destroy this opponent makes me interested on what's going to happen. So that's a plus on this issue. The fact that he states directly that he needs first powerhouse, then he needs to control Nova because he needs somebody to defeat the Sphinx for him, and we still don't know why he wants to defeat the Sphinx. We know that in his vision, if he didn't quote unquote rescued Powerhouse, the Sphinx would have gone and killed Powerhouse. Based on what? We don't know. It's never explained, and nothing is really explained. This is the issue where they are supposed to give a lot of answers, and their answers are, don't worry about it. It's fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, just sit down and let it go.
It takes a long time before you learn a lot of the things about Powerhouse. So that I won't
Powerhouse
give away here.
Yeah, Powerhouse is a really interesting character, man.
Yeah, I kind of like what they did with him. I won't give it away here, but suffice to say, you're in for an interesting trip with him.
Yeah, even in this issue, his conflict and the way that he sees what Condor is doing, it's really interesting. What can I say? He is the best character out of the trio.
Oh yeah.
Even though I will say I still need a team up between Fancy Dan and the Condor.
Yes, dude. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
I would be down with that, man.
Fancy Dan and the Condor, the failures of Marvel.
No,
for that you got to throw in Pace Pop Pete.
Oh
yes.
But then you gotta bring in my boy Slide. I want me some Slide.
Who?
See,
Man, but
Debug Klobby will know who that is.
Yeah. If you team up,
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I turned the thing off.
Slide.
Oh God.
I have.
Okay, now I'm curious. Who is that?
He's a villain who slides.
He's sly. He's a cool sliding cat.
And he's SLYDE.
Fenrir, think about this.
What you think of the cod piece?
Fenrir,
that one is.
I'm going to dig that on my vault. I'm going to dig on my vault.
God.
I'm just going to brag about it.
Oh God, man.
Think about the team up. You have Fancy Dan that is, well, fancy and everything, and you have the Condor that has an afro walking down the street. Tell me that image will not be badass just by itself.
Oh, it would be.
I mean, it would. I mean, done right, it could probably be a multi-million-dollar movie right in itself. I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
It's almost like thinking about Scarface walking down with black dynamite in a beer costume. It's just
Oh, yes.
badass.
That's a hell of a movie.
Right?
It would have been.
There's a franchise right there.
There is.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
there
yeah.
is.
And then a couple of ninjas jump out of nowhere. They just start beating the crap out of them.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Black
We're going to
Dynamite's
get to
a
issue
franchise,
number
too.
7. And since he
Number
went
7.
last, I'm going to let him go first now. So, Pablo, talk about issue number 7.
The Condor has a spaceship.
Look up.
Yep, he just has a spaceship for the hell of it.
Yeah, and the spaceship looks like an eagle,
condor.
not a condor. Man, you are the Condor branding is paramount. Just
That must have set him back a little bit, huh?
now we know why he can afford another PC.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
got a spaceship.
and his money on his, branding his spaceship.
But yeah, if you are the Condor and you're gonna have a Condor spaceship, shape it like a Condor, not like a Falcon. That was weird. We see the remains of Sor
Mm-hmm.
just lying there, and we actually see the defense mechanism on Nova's spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Is the spaceship ever gonna be really in control of Nova?
I don't think so.
Mm.
Not that I
Yeah.
remember.
Also, he destroys the ship where he could find answers about his powers, decimated the robots and everything. Is the Sphinx doing because the Sphinx has magic powers, and now we see why Moises is canon on Marvel Comics. God is canon in Marvel Comics, just straight up. So this is the wizard that was with Ramses when Moises warned him about the plagues, and he's like, yeah, he failed, so he went and walked on the desert until he found a magic stone, and he become immortal and powerful. But he wants to be a crime lord because that way he can become the emperor of the
For
world.
some reason. Yeah.
Sounds like terrain.
What?
And he's been wearing the same clothes for 5,000 years.
Yeah. There's some things that don't make much sense, but he tries. At least this guy tries.
Condor's ambitious, man. He like I said,
Yeah.
he's the guy who wants to be drunk on power, but he
I want to be a
can't
crime
get
lord.
there. He wants it all, but he can't have it. So he's a go-getter in that sense. This is why I love this character.
Condor gives me the vibe of the kind of guy who, once he wakes up, he takes a sniff of powder just to get the energy going.
Yeah, man. What a weird bunch. But yeah, that's what I have. This story is bonkers. What else can I say?
Yes, sir.
You got that right.
They're all
right.
bonkers.
Killer, Pablo. Thank you. All right. Fenrir, why don't you go ahead and talk about this intriguing issue?
Well, I enjoyed the beginning of the story and how it pretty much broke out the mind controlled trope. It was a good turn. I enjoy. Look, Bob pretty much just said it for me. It's a good one. Enjoy the Condor. He's fun and yeah, about that. Honestly, today I'm kind of drunk on the voice here, so yeah, 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Why? Because I'm lazy. Yeah, pretty
Okay.
good. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward.
Okay. No, all good, man. Klobby, this is for you.
Well, we start out with another great Kirby cover.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Very
find out, we learn things like later we learn that space is blue. Always, I'll never forget this issue. The way I won't plague you again with reading Stan's intro, but the credit box always. I remember, it's like Marv Wolfman thunked it up. Sal Biascimma and Frank Giacolia drew it up right pretty. Michelle W. colored it up chromatically. Jay Costanza was forced to letter it up, just so you keep you guys up to date on the weird things. Like that was like a throwback to the old style Marvel credit boxes, right? And I'm going, wait, you guys, do you have to emulate Stan and everything? But Marv was the Marv was the editor as well, so yeah. No, again, great job by the art team. This does advance the story very well. It's all out mayhem. This is the silliness of the origin of Sphinx. Sphinx is kind of fun. That I mean, he didn't. You just I remember even reading it as a kid, saying, "Wait a minute, he just looked like that." And then 5,000 years later, he's just still dressed exactly the same. He's wearing his. So he walked around in ancient Egypt or whatever, looking like that. Okay.
I
sure.
have one outfit.
Yes. And so we still don't know how what's his face Condor knows the dreaded one.
Does he even watch that thing?
When I read these now, without spoiling anybody, what is it? The hooded one keeps telling him about, he sees the fate he keeps seeing.
Sage.
Yeah, that's right. Sage.
Yeah,
Sage. Thank you. He keeps seeing his fate. Well, now I know what it is, so it's weirder reading it than back then. I'm like, what happens to him? Oh my god! But he's around for a long time now. But anyway, again, seeing Nova going bad, typical trope of turning the hero bad, controlling his mind, all that kind of stuff, done a million times. Just a sensational job by Sal, though, and Frank on this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, first of all, there is kind of a reason why Condor can have a ship like that, but we don't want to spoil anything. It was so cool to finally get to go to Nova Prime ship, though. I like that. All that stuff on the ship was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. This advances the story pretty well. This fills some gaps. Here we are, issue 7, and finally Richard is learning a little bit more about him. So why the powers and stuff. We meet Nova Prime. I remember as a kid thinking, "Wow, good. This is cool." Now he's going to have Nova Prime to help him out. He's going to build in, but they kind of just. They find out when he leaves the ship that he can't communicate with them anymore. But more on that later. Mm-hmm. It was a fun issue. It was a fine issue, and like I say, it advances this storyline. Which again, you buckle up because it's going to take some time with these guys. But overall, very entertaining, fun issue.
All right, killer, awesome.
And space is blue, by the way.
His face is blue. All right, Caster, you're up.
First off, let's point out the fact that the Condor has a spaceship.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
And the fact that he has stuff to make people be able to breathe in space.
Yes.
It's a spray, too. It's like he got it at the store.
He says, dude, don't think about it.
He must have got it from Batman's belt.
I guess it also keeps the cold of space doesn't bother you either.
But does it repel sharks?
Let's hope so.
No.
I don't
Unless
think
it's space sharks.
Different spray.
Probably space sharks. Probably.
I think it is. I think they go to the same supply store as what, Acme?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no. I do like the sort of getting that little bit of the origin of the Sphinx that he squared off with Moses, and so you kind of get into this biblical history, and
right.
Looking back on it, it does kind of surprise me seeing that, thinking that this essentially is, like I said earlier, a prototype for what could have been for what would be Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Who also had that early dating back to the days of the ancient Egyptians sort of history to him. I mean, there's still kind of a lot of. It's a bit of a middle issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'm pretty happy with this one. The ridiculous helmet on the Sphinx's little henchman there stands out to me.
Mm-hmm.
in that like second to last panel.
No, let me
Well,
here.
he's not. He's really
Yes.
nice to that guy, isn't he?
No,
Kerr.
Just call him
Kerr.
Kerr. Scumbag,
Kerr.
punk.
Yeah, great,
What a
great
name, Kerr.
They keep calling each other. So this Nova calls everybody handsome. Everyone calls Nova punk half the time, and this guy's Kerr. Jeez.
I mean, and I do like the fact that we get to see that the ship, you know, the onesie suit of the bad guy from the first issue is still there on the floor.
They sort of explained it a little bit what happened to him.
Yeah.
Phantom outside here. Before you continue on our guest, I want Clobbery to confirm this or not confirm.
But they all use
They all
the
get
same
the-
barber. We know that.
Yes, they all use the same barber.
All right, Caster, carry
It's a
on.
90-degree angle.
I confirm that.
Yeah, no, basically just hey, I'm pretty content with this. We got to go to space.
Mm-hmm. Despite how we got there, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Killer. All right, D Bud, go ahead, man, and then I'll go, and then we'll wrap up this issue.
Yeah, I like how we get, a lot of answers. It's paying off some stuff. We finally get to learn more about who the Sphinx is, where he's coming from, and how he also wants to be crime lord of the world. It's like everybody that wants to be the crime lord of everything is in this comic, including Kerr. It's like, oh, well, I can't wait for the Sphinx to get taken down so I can be the master.
Looking for a new career.
And
How about
the,
crime lord?
yeah. And then you can see the Sphinx has a lot of loyalty with his people there between Kerr, and then he's got one of his underlings who comes in. He's all like, yeah, you're crazy. You're in your weird palace here, and I already told your enemies where it's at so they can come and get you. It's like, okay. He has a loyal following.
Since we're on this page, I want to point out just how much I love this idea that like the Sphinx is controlling the robots and is basically fusing them and forming new robots. It's like this is a fun idea to put into the comic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think that's actually the Nova ship that's doing that.
Oh.
I don't know that that's necessarily the Sphinx, but the yeah, it's just I love how the fact that all these he doesn't have a very loyal following, the Sphinx. Maybe it's because he never changes his clothes.
He's not very nice. He's not a very nice guy. So
You got the Sphinx stink.
No.
He defeats the Sphinx. Thing, yeah.
Sphinx stink.
But I also like earlier in this issue where Nova's programmed and he's evil, how he's just blowing through things and just kicking behind everybody.
Yes.
He's just, oh, you want to steal this stuff? Okay, bam! He just goes in there and just takes everybody out and grabs stuff, and that's it. It's like just this powerhouse just going in and doing things. And when he's fighting with like Diamond Head and Condor, and I think it's great that he's just beating the hell out of these guys when he's programmed. So that was amusing. But I really like that this is, it's paying off what we've been getting for these first several issues. All this mystery of, okay, that's dreaded one, and we find out it's the Sphinx, and now this issue we're finding out who the Sphinx is and where he comes from, and we'll get even more answers next issue on other things. And that was something that I really liked about this book at the time when I was buying it, is that I was getting payoff continually at this point. And it drove me to want to keep waiting for that next issue to come out so I could learn more, because I knew it was coming. So
Killer. Awesome. Well said, D-Bud. For me, okay, I'm obviously going to say some of the same things, but I love how shamelessly ludicrous this all is. Like what Condor wants, like I said, as I said, or his need to be drunk on power. He is like, this is a desire for him. This is like, he is obsessed with this. And even like the Sphinx is like, dude, what's with you, dude? And then So he's like, okay, I'm watching you, man. You think you got me, but I'm watching you. And I love the banter going on between Powerhouse and Diamond Head and Condor, because I mean, yes, you get it's a cliche trope of how villains work together, but it's just how it plays out here is really fun and really ridiculous. And then you got Nova into the mix, who's trying to lead them, who's the hero playing the villain, leading the villains, and him snapping in, snapping out of it. It's just really fun issue. And once again, the silliness of going to space and how they got there by way of a special spray. I mean, for Condor, who's basically not Vulture, he has quite a bit of crass that Vulture doesn't have. I must give him credit there, and his personality for me continues to shine. So he's basically the man who's obsessed with power. Powerhouse is the guy who's conflicted, and Diamond Head's just the New Yorker type of guy who just wants to fuck somebody up regardless of the mission. But he doesn't like being led with orders, but yet he kind of still does anyway, just because he needs a dragon to slay. So yeah, very, very fun issue. Once again, glorious colors to look at. I love looking at the colors, and I love how basically they're like, hey, no, peace out, dude. See you later. You won't find us again. Little do they know what he can do after. So yeah, I really enjoy this issue. And once again, as we get more answers, first issue with 6, we learned who the Dread was, but then we got some answers about, but now we get more answers on top of it. So once again, the world building, the payoff, the continuity. You even get a reference to what happened too with what's his face in issue 1. Right here. Right there, yes. So it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. So yeah, no, overall though, really, really fun issue, and I really, really immensely enjoyed it. So yeah, boys, we're going to issue 8, and issue 8 is really fun, and it's also very, very heavy in dialogue. So yeah, I guess I will let Clobberin lead off with this one.
Issue number 8. Let's see here. Nice cover by the return of John Buscema, but just for the cover, but still Buscema and the great Joe Sinnox on that cover. And it is a gooder. It is a gooder, as they say. A great cover. Here we go with another interlude. Well, we're finally going to get down to excuse me, pardon me. The story of Caps and what's going on with Caps and his crazy uncle. Although I love the opening, again, great job by Sal and Frank, of course, and I love that for some reasons when he's looking out at the spaceship in the splash page, space is now green and the planets are red and yellow for some reason. But I just thought I'd mention it. And then later it's black again with orange planets. That could be, again, I'm not looking at a normal copy. Originally, I'm looking at the scan that's on here that's for the trade paperback. So I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Just a little fun. We get a pretty nice recap here of what went on with. We finally get explained a little bit about what was going on with Zor, and Nova finally learns, more about himself. For some reason, I was conflated with this previous issue. My mistake. We kind of learns about it with this one. So I like the whole stuff at the beginning where he's talking to Prime, and he finds out a lot about himself and a little bit, not everything, but a little bit, of course, what's going on. And I love the fact that because it's a comic book, you could have it's an alien machine. It could show him anything that happens on Earth.
Yeah, right.
Anything. Like what happened in his dad's principal office. So what if he wants to know, like, let's see, it was the mid-70s. Raquel Welch, let's go with that. So, Prime, what is Raquel Welch doing right now? Is she taking a bath? Can you show me that? He's a 17-year-old boy,
How's Ginger doing? What's Ginger doing on her own time?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at some. Oh, yeah, my friend's in trouble. I forgot about that stuff. Let me go find out what's going on with Caps.
Yeah, let's ask that last.
Yeah, finds out what's going on with his pappy. For some reason, this computer can create a holographic recreation of whatever the crap is going on the whole planet.
Oh
You got
man,
that kind of
Caps is
technology. You got that kind of technology, but you can't communicate with him once he goes into the atmosphere. Okay.
yeah, that was kind of weak. Seriously,
So,
so weak.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the issue is that on issue 1, the computer could actually communicate and tells
Right, it
the
did, but
math
now it can't.
answer. Yeah,
So-
randomly it can't.
So now it's in Blue Blazes. He's got to go save
Caps.
Caps.
And Pablo, I guess you were right. He has the sewer water in his mouth now, and that's got to be hell for him.
Yep.
In the mouth.
he takes a cool Flash Gordon ship through blue space, and it burns up in the atmosphere. But he doesn't. A spaceship will burn up in the atmosphere, but Nova won't. Okay. Whatever you guys say. Sure.
Whoever wrote this was not on the drugs. He was probably doing it sober.
Wolfman was fine, right? No drugs at all there. So anyway, saves Caps, and we find out later when he turns back into Rich Rider and goes to Cap's house. I guess he's like a lot of these kids in fiction where he lives there by himself. He says something about calling his parents. Where are his parents? We never see his parents. He's been missing for days. And what the hell is this kid? Does he live in this house by himself? Why is Bernie and Richard responsible for him? What in the hell's going on with that? So we see the story of his uncle, who's uncle's taking him out camping. He gets knocked into that black lake thingy or whatever in that cave. And for some reason, that makes him blame Caps like it's his freaking fault. So he goes Looney Tunes. And okay, here's where Marv Wolfman, who is a big Star Trek fan, okay, and he's written a lot of Star Trek.
Yes, there's a few references in this.
No, there are no less than 3 rip-offs of Star Trek in this story and this character. No less than 3. I counted 3. For example, the entity that we find out later was from 1,000,000 years in the future transforms him and turns him into Mega Man. Had never seen a human, so it couldn't put his face back together.
But he knew the body.
I've
though.
never heard that before.
That was not in the cage or anything.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we find out that this entity, that calls him entity, is a super evolved being, but it's the last one, and it's in love with him, and it's female. We never saw that in an episode called Metamorphosis. Right? That didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
And I'll save the other one for the next issue. But those are 2 Star Trek, which is fine, by the way. I'm just saying, this is, again, another example of Marv Wolfman wanting to create a Nova villain from whole cloth rather than using an established one, which is what he likes. Which is, you could, again, as I said last week, that's laudable. That's cool. How he ends up back in the 20th century, who knows? He just jumps into the pool. And that's that.
If you remember, too, when I think it was issue 6 or 7 that started, he was already ahead of time, and then they had to dial back a few weeks to show his fight with these villains. So now we're basically catching up to that time, if you remember that correctly, to this issue. So it took 2 whole issues to go back to where 3 weeks before was. Did you? I'm not sure if you remember that, but yeah, that's
my head around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
All right.
So
Is
anyway,
that clubby?
Yeah, well, no, basically, yeah, it was I just want to say it was as silly as anything else they've done in the series, which basically keeps it on a. I don't know. By the way, I don't know why Ginger puts up with this with Rich Rider. Really, to be honest with you, he's like, what? She seems like she's way out of his league. But I'm just kidding.
All the girls were out of the guy's league back then, but the guy needs to get her.
Well, that's not the way I remember it. I mean, I was in her league. No, I'm just kidding. I was 12. Just kidding. So anyway, yeah, we had the big fight at the end, and Mega Man shows up with his shirtlessness and his facelessness and his purple pants and green, again, because that's the old trope. Villains have to have purple and green usually, mostly. You have your big fight, and then he blasts the Rider house, and Nova's got to make a choice. Let him get away with the Caps or save his family. I thought it was a pretty entertaining issue. I remember this one, again, just so vividly, reading this thing like 20 times when it came out. Like I did all these issues when it came out. I just couldn't put it down. I love this comic. So, marvelous job by Sal and Frank on this one to get on the art. Story, well, it may not hold up, but it's still fun.
All right, killer. Thank you, Klobby. All right, Fenrir is going to say his piece on this issue, and then he is going to bow out. So, Fenrir, I'll let you have the floor on this.
Yeah, right. This issue was good, but it felt off. Okay, the pacing felt off. It just felt off for me on itself. I give it an 8 out of 10. It was just, damn. I had this crazy entirety planned up for all of this, and it's all gone now that it's my turn. Damn, human brain. I had all this that involved the human philosophy, Star Trek, and the concept of how all of this is made out of drugs. But it's all gone now. Nothing but a memory.
Man.
Inside the deep. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it the point out of 8 out of 10. But so yeah, it was okay. It felt off, but it was okay. An okay read. It's just this issue doesn't feel right. I mean, it feels out of place. I don't know why.
Interesting take.
For me, okay. For me.
Yeah, no, of course. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
I kind of know what you mean, man.
See, not the only one here.
I do understand.
All right.
Oh yeah,
that's good to know.
Yeah, I
you got anything else you want to add to that?
Absolutely not. I have nothing unless it Caps is kind of annoying. I had to say it.
All right.
I had to say it.
What do you got to say?
Now it had to be said. Caps is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it did have to be said.
Oh, Caps can. Okay, I'm sorry. Flew over my head. All right. Is that it then, Fenrir? Is this gonna be your moment where you bow out?
Yeah, that's about it. And to you gentlemen in the chat, I wish you the best of things. Now, if you excuse me, I have other predicaments to get into the middle of. Peace to you all.
Take care, Fenrir. We'll see you next week. All right.
Be good, man.
All right. See you next week, guys.
Take care. And then there was the 5 gentlemen. And Ironcaster. Go ahead and go.
So we're getting the sort of the go between for our two stories here, where we're getting a little bit more information on what the Nova Corps actually is, and a little bit of details about like the spaceship, and he's got this computer assistant, so it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Scoots from Booster Gold.
Skeets,
yeah. Thank you, Skeets.
Skeets, yes, Skeets. Shout out to Skeets. Carry on.
And of course, let's not ignore the fact that his villain's named Mega Man.
Right. I was waiting to do that joke, man.
Who's like a pink, faceless muscle guy who can shoot lasers. Like, I feel like it's not quite clear what sort of powers they're going for with him. But I mean, it's really just to kind of actually give a little bit of story for some of the side characters. They've been teasing that there was something going on with Cap since the very first issue, and now we're finally getting some actual payoff for that and actual continuing the storyline. Okay. And also, the danger is coming at the end. The danger comes home for him, where it puts him in that sort of heroic point where he has to like, he's stuck between the rock and the hard place. Do I stop to help out my family, or do I try to stop the bad guy?
Yeah, it's the classic. You can save the kittens, or you can save your loved one, but you cannot save them both. And we know how that goes. In the end, is just a trope. But
yeah, yes, it's been done.
you're getting little ideas of what's going on with the father here, which fair enough. I'm fine with this. I didn't really care for like the cosmic bowling ball.
Cosmic. Are you talking about here? Let me go
The
back
entity?
a few pages.
The entity.
Yeah, entity. Yeah, entity. Yes, doing. She's basically this living female, well, entity that is making Mega Man. We're really weird to say that the way he is. Yeah. Okay. I feel like this issue is very heavy on the dial between this and explaining what was going on the ship and how Nova can use it. This issue really like this issue was definitely a longer read, but I'll stop so you can continue.
Also, the fact that Condor and the other villains just kind of get away.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah.
we dropped that to attend to this basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, that's basically kind of my thoughts. It's like there were some things I like. This did feel like a kind of an issue. This issue, in all honesty, felt as a little bit of a trog to get through because I just kind of didn't care about Underpants Man here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his costume. He wears his he just straight up wears his underwear on the outside.
Don't worry, he gets a better.
Well, like most
later on.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I mean, that looks like that is straight up the like outlines of a pair of tidy whities.
Kill me, dude. Kill me.
Yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. Not the best
Okay.
villain. I'd rather get more of the Sphinx.
Yeah. Okay, I could agree on that. I would. The Sphinx looks cool, like has a cool presence. So yeah, I can get with that. All right. Killer.
Although I should ask, since I'm thinking about it now,
Yeah.
where do we stand on the Sphinx's pointy ears on his helmet?
I dig it.
I mean, we
Yeah.
had all the talk with Batman and the length of the points on the ears on his cowl.
Mm-hmm. I have no issues. For me, I feel like that suits the Sphinx. So that's where I'm at with that.
And also, being a villain, he's allowed to have a ridiculous helmet.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Villains
Oh, yeah.
are dude, I love Loki best with his Golden Age oversized helmet. That's my
Yeah.
Loki.
That's all I got for this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, killer. Well, D-Bud.
Yeah, as we kind of brought up, like I think what bothered Fenrir and some of us is the fact that they kind of just dropped the Condor, Powerhouse, Diamond Head. What happened with them? They take off on this, and it's like, well, why is he dealing with all this? Those guys are off to, and you see them attacking the Sphinx's headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's kind of off on this story is that why would he completely drop that? Yeah, he's got to rescue Caps, but after that, why would he not then be involved in the Sphinx, what's happening over there? So that I think that's why this story kind of feels a little off, is that you'd expect it to continue on following with what's happening with the Sphinx. And it doesn't. It stops for this story, which is that's a little odd.
It is.
But I mean, what I like about this is it's the start of the issue. It explains exactly what it is that happened with Zor from the beginning for the first issue, and you learn more about the origin of Nova Corps, etc. And it does sort of set up the fact that spaceship is still there. I mean, he might not be able to communicate with the computer, but if he can get back into orbit, it's still there, available for a later story. And it would be too easy if he could just communicate with it. Well, then it'd be just way too easy. It's sort of like the problem with a lot of older movies is if they had cell phones back then, there'd be no plots.
That's right.
Everything would be done. And so it'd be the same thing with this. If he was able to keep communication with that spaceship, well, then he could solve everything right away, and it would destroy being able to do any stories. So it makes sense that he did that.
Oh, it
But
does
it
make
does,
sense, yeah.
yeah. But it leaves it there for the future. He can still go to that ship if he, in some later story, to do things and possibly learn more, or go other places in the universe. So I mean, that it's a nice setup, and it was understandable that they did that. But they did, and then they give you a little bit more foreshadowing of things, like with his father. You're finding out exactly what it is that's going on with him, and what might be happening later with him. So that it's still, you're still kind of getting answers to things, but not complete answers. You'd still need to find out more. But again, that was another thread that went through these that kept me interested in this book and wanting to read the next issue, because it was bringing up a bunch of questions and it was answering things. So you felt like you were getting something back. You weren't just being given a bunch of odd stuff and having a bunch of questions and never getting any answers to them. This kept feeding you answers. So that was rewarding to read it that way. Yeah, the Mega Man character, it is kind of kooky, and like Klobby said, it's like, wow, this is obviously, there's several things taken from Star Trek on it. He's got this alien being that's got a fatal attraction with him, and he's not into. I like my women to be women, not bowling balls.
Well, he turned her into a bowling ball. He was just a gas.
Gas, yeah. But it's yeah, I mean, it's that's a bit of a little kooky story on that one, but it's kind of giving you a break before they continue on with the Sphinx. So that's that does make this kind of an odd issue and a half here that we're going on. So. But I think you guys have all kind of said the other things I wanted to say about this issue. So.
Okay, no, killer. I guess I'll go off on this one. And for me, I do actually enjoy this issue. It is a bit abrupt. It is a bit abrupt with how it goes from, saying, okay, what's going on with these villains who just basically left me behind in space. And yeah, it's weird to see green in space, but I kind of like it. I like the green on there, even though that's not accurate. I know it's not, but I like the way it looks, so I do forgive for that. And once again, we get more answers to what's going on with Caps. We now know about Mega Man. We know about what happened with what's his face at Zor in issue 1. So we get more answers. We get a whole lot of answers, and it's interesting how this technology that works in Nova Prime's ship has very much some incredible conveniences. Some that are very, very, very invasive, I guess. So it's a little comical, and definitely it's like, man, bro, holy crap. Okay, I guess we'll just roll with that. Cowabunga it is then. And yeah, definitely. And the dialogue. I mean, I feel like, and I actually like a good story I can read in 20, 25 minutes. I feel like this one maybe a little bit. I feel like what hurt for me, besides the abruptness, I feel like it was a little too much dialogue for me. But I feel like it could have just trimmed a little bit of fat. They could have explained what they were trying to explain with just a teensy bit, maybe cough like maybe 5-10%.
Yeah,
And it
it
would
was
have
too
been
bad.
like your averagely read issue in terms of the dialogue. But I still enjoy the issue. And of course, we got our hero trapped in a predicament come the end of the issue, which is always, the who do I save first type of thing. So it had a good cliffhanger. But yeah, it definitely kind of was like, hold up, but we still got all these villains here. Like, when you got to take care of that. Now, here's what I do like up until this point. This is something that's not mutually exclusive to this issue, and something that deserves worth mentioning of Nova's first issues versus Spider-Man's first issues. Nova's not, besides Zor, if you even want to really count that as a win, he's not really had many actual wins, whereas Spider-Man in his early days had wins, like early on, whether some were lucky or some were genuine. Spider-Man had wins. Nova's not really been a big winner in these fights. Characters are getting away, or just straight up just out overpowering him, or even outsmarting him. So I do like that he truly does up to this point feel like he is definitely an underdog, despite how incredible his power is. So yeah, I still do enjoy this issue despite the abruptness and maybe a little too heavy on the dialogue. So still a great issue, and for me, I still dare say it's still a recommend. So last but not least on this issue, Pablo.
Okay, this is gonna be something that I will say a lot. Prime Computer is a dick. It's just straight up a dick. Gives all the information that it can, and then it's like, uh, you know what? You can jump on this ship. Okay, I will try to go. By the way, the ship will destroy your entrance to the atmosphere. You could have said that from the get go. Just also, Nova is supposed to be able to take the force of the entrance. It was only because of the speed, so isn't Nova supposed to be really, really fast? Just tell him, push yourself, and you will save Caps. Caps is drowning on poop water.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the uncle Mega Man decided to convert this life form into a bowling ball, crystal ball existence because uh, Uncle Mega Man is a dick.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's nuts.
Everyone is a dick here. The dad is a dick. Prime Computer is a dick. Uncle Mega Man, he's a dick. Okay, I see what was the main theme for this issue, but it feels, as Fenrir say, it feels weird because it's more like a bit of just dumping explanations to the reader about the powers that Nova has, and then it's the origin story for Uncle Dick because yeah. So
Uncle
is
Dick. You guys are killing me with this now.
And then of course Nova himself is Richard.
Yeah,
yep,
he's being
that's another
Richard. He's
dick.
just being Richard.
Why, Richard? I didn't know you were a dick.
You guys are killing me with this.
Are you saying he's a porn star named Dick Ryder?
Oh, that would be appropriate.
That was good.
That.
Just
That was good.
put it out.
Oh god damn it! But yeah, is the recurring theme. The uncle somehow survived interdimensional teleportation, being burnt alive, being torn apart and then reassembled as something else without a face, getting back into the lake that teleportates him between dimensions, being born alive again. And he's just like, what's just a flesh wound?
Yeah, I guess you can see why he's a little testy.
To say the least. To say
And
the freaking least.
Yeah, he goes to his nephew. I need to talk you about her. Also, I will drown you on poop water. But if you survive, I will come to you because I need to talk about her.
I was coming back. I was coming back to save you. Yeah, sure you were.
Yeah.
You don't get it, Caps. She took the kids.
God damn, this issue is weird, man. It's really weird.
Every issue is weird.
And I was gonna say, I feel like if some are just weirder than ours, and this one definitely adds to it. I still enjoy it though. I'll say it. I'm not taking that back. I still enjoy it.
Yeah. What the hell is going on with the dad?
The principal. It'll. I can't say. It'll be nefarious, I'm sure.
Yeah. there's so much things going on. Also, if the computer knows a lot about novas because it has
He knows everything.
the template of every other nova that has existed as just there as a template for talking and explaining things. Why don't you just explain why nova exists to begin with? Because we didn't have that. We know a bit more of what happened, but we don't know why it's necessary for nova to exist. It's
Not
just,
yet.
yeah, you are there. No, okay, why? Go save your friend. He's dying. Okay, I guess let's go. Yeah, the computer is a peeping tom. It can it can just focus on anyone that you want, and if that person is just naked, okay. There's
Yep.
no parental controls on a super sophisticated computer, so go at
Hey,
it.
hey, Prime, is my wife cheating on me? Let me take a look at that for you. There you go. My goodness. You sure you want to know?
Oh,
Hey, we have Maury Povich for that.
They should teases us with what's going on with the not Vulture and the Pharaoh's assistant. We just dropped that story right away. Why? Because somebody was on pop water. What the hell
All
was
right.
going on? I really mean it. What the hell was going on with this issue? What they were thinking, I don't know. Kinda like it. Not gonna lie. It's fun, but we are left hanging with a lot of more questions and no explanation whatsoever. So there you
And
go.
that's the way the cookie crumbled. Dude.
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's that issue. And before we transition over to our final issue for tonight, guys, thank you for sticking around with us. And I did not have a chance to do this earlier because, well, Nick was irresponsible and unintentionally ran out. So Stella was very nice while she went on a grocery run, picked me up a bottle, and it's late, but it's never too late. So bottoms up, cheers, beers, whether you drink, smoke, straight edge, whatever. This one's for you guys.
Salud.
Drink them if you
cheers,
got them.
fears, and no more fears.
Yes. And also, we got a direct donation from our man, Brian Yoder. And he comes in for $25. Says, here's for a villain logic pizza. It's a plain cheese because if I steal all the pepperoni, I will rule the world because reasons.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian, for the 25.
He's like a Nova villain.
That was a great comment.
Man, gotta
Thank you
love
guys
those
seriously
Nova
for sticking
villains.
around for we're almost 2 hours into the show, and we got one more issue to go, and then on to part 3, which will be our final one for this Nova journey next week. So thank you guys for doing this, and let me get the screen again. Let me make sure it's at issue 9. It is at issue 9. So okay, killer. Let's open up and get this going. So issue number 9 of The Man Called Nova. So yes, once again, we did drop a plot from issue 8 and went into a plot from issue 9, which is funny because I noticed that the timeline kind of bounces because, as I mentioned Klobby earlier when he was talking, I think it was issue 6 that started off as with the whole Nova thing with the villains, and then it says 3 weeks before all this, and they see all the buildup. But now we're at this point where we're past the villains again and straight into Mega Man, and so now we have to come. It's definitely all I'm trying to say is it's bounced around quite a bit. So it's been interesting, but it's fun. I have enjoyed this ride despite its jumpiness and its lack of acknowledgement at times to acknowledge that it's gone on with it. But overall, for this issue, I mean, it's nice to see once again more stuff. It's nice to see the Ryder family, and it's nice to finally get context into Nova's suit. I do give this issue credit for that, how his suit functions. Like how when it's the helmet is on his head, it's like a helmet, but when he takes off, it just comes off like a traditional mask. I think that's really cool. Now, I do enjoy the fight with Nova and Mega Man. I don't know if you necessarily would call it a win, but I guess you could call it a tragic ending per se.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn that his wife, Clara, man, she is rotten to the core.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you might as well just stuck with Entity, man. You might as well. Like, I get it, dude. You know, you're hung up, but it's time to let it go, man. But I do like the action Richard does to save his house. I thought that was cool. So I enjoy it. So I don't feel like it's a great issue, but I feel like it's a nice, solid issue. And there's a lot of great callbacks once again. So we're still continuing to greatly acknowledge the continuity. The stuff with the Mega Man was, I'm a bit iffy overall on it. And I do like how Nova gets to have a Superman moment here. And of course we get more details continuing with Ryder's dad as the principal. I do like where that is going to. So overall, still a solid issue, and I'll bring this one to Ironcaster.
So I thought this was while not being as big on the previous issue, this one I feel did pay off and made me appreciate the overall story they're doing with Mega Man here.
Mm-hmm.
For him to kind of make him a bit more sympathetic, it worked for me. And hey, he's got a hot wife, all laid
evil.
out.
Yep.
Evil, man.
I did like seeing him try a couple of things at the start of the comic where he's trying to, I got to put the fire out. I know if I go super fast, I'll suck the oxygen out. Wait, that doesn't actually work? Okay, I'll use water.
Yeah, it went different than I thought. When I saw him circling his house, I was like, okay, he's gonna use some wind power or something like that to extinguish the flames. Nah, going for the pipe.
Yep.
This is a critical drinker. Nah, it'll be fine moment.
Yeah.
Yep. And which I feel is kind of a good way to kind of play off of how we've seen that in previous issues where he's tried to be a hero and do something like trying to stop the bank robbers, only for that to not work out like he expected, and now he's had to sort of improvise on the spot. And so it's just a bit more of a continuation of, being a hero is harder than he thought it would be. Richard Rider doesn't exactly get a lot of breaks in this.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, he doesn't, and that's something like from what I mentioned on the previous issue. Like he gets oversmarted or overpowered a lot, and he's not really had a true victory besides, if you even want to call his first issue a victory. So go on.
The Mega Man stuff here is kind of it's a bit of an interesting one where this alien entity has effectively fallen in love with him and has claimed him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're mine now. You can't love another woman. And he's like, please just. And here he is begging, like, please, I just need you to say you love me. And she obviously doesn't. She's moved on. She's sleeping with his best friend. I mean, she has this look of outright disgust at him.
Yeah, she's a keeper there at that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit of an inverse in a way of The Thing comes to mind, where that's how he sees himself, as I'm this rock monster who nobody could possibly love.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Raymond's got a bounce. Hey, Raymond, let me read this for you before you go. I saw you send a direct donation. And Raymond G. Stanley with 556 says, Nick, always a good time. Thank you for the culture. Shout out to the panel, Pablo, Clobber, and Iron D-Bud, and also the chat. I got a bounce. I wish you all live happy and have liberty. Until next time, friends, remember, voting is of the way. I hear that, my friend. Raymond, thank you for the 556. And, dude, one last cheers for you before you go. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's great to see you again. Always welcome here. Have a good night, and we'll be back next week to conclude Nova. Until then, my friend, have a great weekend. Thanks again for the direct donation.
Later, buddy.
All right, Caster.
Night.
This felt like a decent enough payoff for what kind of started as a less than superb story they were building up, considering that there was actually more compelling stories that we could have been following instead.
Okay.
I did like the Funhouse. I thought that was fun to kind of go through and having him deal with this, like that moment where he doesn't know what's going to be Mirror and what's actually going to be Mega Man trying to blast him. It's like that's always a good moment. I think when a comic can do that bit.
Yeah, that's a good trope.
Yep. Like I said, there's stuff in this I thought was fun, though. It's like with the powers this guy has, the Funhouse, I don't know if that would be the best like layer for him. But it worked for the comic. And that's about all I've really got.
Okay. No, all good, man. All good. All right, Clobberin.
Well, starting off, of course, they have a pretty interesting, nice Ed Hannigan cover with Theoko Ankinum and Hannigan's pre-crazy covers days. Because if you ever look at the covers of Ed Hannigan, you know what I'm talking about. But then we start with that. Great job again by Sal and Frank. They're really knocking it out of the park with this. They kept, just sucking me in back then as a kid. Just couldn't wait. I get this art. It's so exciting. I mean, he's there. Sal is a great storyteller, underrated one, especially for action. And these comic books are action packed. They're not modern comics where everyone's sitting around tables and talking for hours, which really must be tough to draw. Right? I love at the beginning when Nova has to try to take the fire out of the house. I remember this even as a kid, and he apparently has been reading Superman comics because Superman would always spin around a fire and take the without the vortex. The problem is he's not as fast as Superman, so he says, I guess it just shows you can't believe everything you read in comic mags. So I thought that was a fun bit. Yes, this is a detour from the primary storyline with the villains and stuff, but that's okay. I don't mind them doing something like that. There is this one fun moment that I thought I would mention this when he's changing back to Richard Rider after he leaves the hospital. When he's going to the hospital. He says, maybe I should have asked Daredevil what he does with his costume, but he's one. Well, it says CDD 142. Well, I've got a bit of a surprise to show you really quickly if you want to see it.
Yeah, show up.
A little special moment here. Back then, they used to connect from comics. Used to connect to other comics, and this is what he was referring to right here.
Yes, we mentioned the Daredevil panel earlier.
Daredevil was in the water. He was having a fight with, I believe it was Mr. Hyde or somebody like that. And he's out in the middle of nowhere, and who comes along but Nova? And he just sees him out there. It was kind of a fun, this was all it was in that issue of Daredevil, art by Bob Brown and Jim Mooney. But yeah, so he picks him up, says, thanks, could have gotten pneumonia out here. Says, don't mention it, sir. I'm getting a real kick out of just meeting you. I've been one of your fans for years. Name's Daredevil, Nova, not sir. And if you need any help at all, give me a buzz. Care of D.A. Tower. You remember those days for Daredevil?
I like with this panel that you show up. Not only is it nice when you just acknowledge what was the reference moment in the Nova book, but when you have the writer, writing Daredevil, and he still writes Nova the way he should. Not all right. I'm gonna throw Nova in my book.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna because
Wolfman
nowadays
was writing Daredevil as well. Yeah.
Was he okay? This was
Yes,
Wolfman.
he
Okay.
wrote this. Yeah.
So Well, that makes it even easier from the transition to. But no, it's cool to see like even in your book, like Nova's still Nova, and it shows you once again, it makes everything really truly feel connected because not everything has to be over a big fight. Like it's awesome when that happens when the heroes unite, but sometimes it could just be such a small moment as being stuck in the water. And Nova happens to be in the area, and they all live in New York City anyway, so it kind of makes more sense than people would think. It's not just plot armor or convenience. There's so many of these heroes in New York City, they're bound to run into each other.
Oh yeah, we love
over
that
little things. So this makes a lot of sense.
And this is Marv plugging his own other book and his own character. And besides, I knew you're a Daredevil fan, so I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Nick.
Oh no, dude, I did get a kick out because I've not read this, so that I had a big thrill. I remember like when I was reading the Nova, I'm like, dude, that's killer. Like, that's awesome. Like, and now I'm like, I'll read that Daredevil issue. So thank you for that.
There you go, 142. So anyway, it was that was a fun era for Daredevil, I thought anyway. But so we got this, like everyone was talking about, the stuff with Mega Man, them elaborating on the story. Now he wants Cap. It's so goofy and loony. He wants Caps to go talk his girlfriend his wife, into taking him back after knowing what he looks like, knowing that Clara's not very nice. Clara, anyway, Doctor Who fans. No, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It was loopy. It was funny though. He rescues the cat from a roof.
Yeah.
Some fun character moments. Clara's kind of hot now, but she's a total biatch.
Oh, that scene when she goes like, "Oh, come," she's all sexy and come on, have some hold.
Yeah, I'm
like, ooh, man, no.
Yeah, she's cruel, dude.
Yeah, she's horrible. Guy comes in and smacks Caps or whatever.
Yeah.
Mega Man comes in there with his no face and he says, "Face it, true but favors the tiger." No. Anyway,
AKA Nathan. Yeah.
Yes. So wackiness ensues, and again, my third Star Trek reference here is later, at the end when the entity comes along. Basically, but again, it's not a win or a loss for Nova. He puts up a good fight, but again, it's one of those things where he doesn't win, which is fine. Nova's like that. It was great action, incredible pages by Sal, and then at the end there, when the entity, apparently Claire has to do is say she loves him, but she's a total piece of garbage, and he ain't much better. He's a nut. So the entity loves the creep because he's the only game in town, I guess, in a million years in the future when they're the only two beings left. So basically, the entity even says that, your powers are too much for this time. You don't belong in this time anymore. Your powers and the powers you need in our future are dangerous in the 20th century. That's from a Star Trek episode called Charlie X, basically. The Thasians picking Charlie back. So that's like three in this whole story, 3 Star Trek elements from the original series episodes, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying.
No, I love it.
Just saying that Marv Wolfman was a Star Trek fan. And of course, people were very derivative in their comic books back then. Nothing wrong with that. We mean, steal from the best. Just saying.
Isn't this still coming out like just before Star Wars?
Yes, this is 76. This is right before 76 and and it's 77ish up there. So yes, sir.
Our boy Monkey Jeebus, who's listening in the chat. Thank you, Monkey Jeebus. Want to show off his figure he got of the man called Nova.
I got that one. I got that last a few months back when it was a Walgreens exclusive.
Nice.
Does that have the correct thing on the back though?
Nope. Those idiots. It's a great
Okay.
figure, but the old one I have from the Toy Biz from the 90s does. But these jerks, idiots, because Hasbro always forgets something. They forgot the damn star on the back. Damn it.
That's unfortunate because that helmet looks really killer and the suit looks really killer.
This figure's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's beautiful.
That helmet
From the
extra
front.
helmet is is a different, like a space version of it with rocket things on the side, but it has a stand that you can stand it on. Great figure.
No, thank you for sharing that, Monkey Jeebus. I appreciate it. You got anything else for this issue, Klobby?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right.
Enjoyed it. It was a fun little deviation from,
Oh, yes. No, indeed. It says have Andy fix it.
All
right.
Fix anything.
We're going to do D-Bud, then Pablo, and then we're gonna plug out, guys. So D-Bud, this is you, man.
It's kind of funny. I think we've all kind of mentioned that part where he tries to do the vortex to create a vacuum to take out the fire. We all kind of that was something I wanted to bring up too. It's like really loved that little bit where he's trying to do that and it doesn't work. He goes, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to try something else." And when he's in the fun house and he gets the idea of, hey, all I gotta do is smash these mirrors and I don't have to worry about that problem of, gee, which one is Mega Man? And it shows he's trying to think more. He's still learning, that he's starting to think, hey, I need to do this type of thing, and he's getting wiser at being a hero and thinking things through a little bit more, which I like that. But he, as Walt pointed out, he still doesn't really defeat anybody, but the only one he's really straight out beaten is Tyrannus. But my mother could beat Tyrannus.
Yeah, that was not difficult.
I'll hit you with a spitball in the face. Oh no, okay, I quit. But yeah, there's kind of something appealing about that, though. It's that he's not, he's still learning. He's young and he's learning, and he doesn't necessarily have to win as long as he, makes a good situation of it at the end. It's okay. But he's still learning. So it's still something that I kind of liked about it. And it was something that, even though it's different than Spider-Man, it's still that, young person learning about what they can do that to me gave it that Spider-Man vibe. And I really liked that. But then there's one other thing that happens in this issue that's a little like he finds out that his the lenses on his helmet lets him see in the dark. So that's another little power that he finds out that he has.
Yes.
That's a little neat little thing he threw in there. But yeah, this story is kind of it's odd in that it's still taking away from the main plot of the whole run so far, which is the Sphinx story. And I kind of want to get on with that. And they do promise at the end of this issue, you're going to get it.
Oh yeah, which is good. And but I don't like Lobby said, I wouldn't mind if it that it happened that they wanted to get away from it for a bit. I think the execution of it was a bit abrupt, and I think that's what made me thrown off a little bit, because it was just like he's looking at his ship. Hey, show me where this person is. Show me that person. Oh crap! I need to move on to this, and then focus on this completely. It felt off.
Yeah,
but go on.
Yeah, and that's what with Fen River's feeling. It's like that. That's exactly what it is. It's like it just time wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But you do have to finish the story off, so I mean, it does make sense as far as what they did. But yeah, it's just it's a little, it's Star Trekky, like Clobby's pointed out. But in the end, it's taken care of, and like they show there, we're gonna get more on the main thing that we're really waiting for. And again, I want to get that next issue.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I hear ya. Yeah. Hey, Gutsy77, what's up, dude? Anyone watch that new? But looks kind of weak. Maybe watch it. I have not seen it. I've not really heard anything good nor bad just yet. So
isn't it a series?
I don't know. I really don't know.
The Prey movie or series or whatever it is.
The TV show. I mean,
No
it's a movie.
here.
A movie, sorry.
Okay.
But it's only on the
Hulu.
streaming, right?
Hulu, yeah.
Yeah.
No answers here yet, Gutsy, but nice to see you here. Thanks for dropping in. All right, Pablo. Shoot.
As you were saying, it's weird that they just go into the side adventure. I will call it just straight up RPG. When you are playing Skyrim or Witcher or something like that, and the main story, the bad guy is about to destroy the world, and you go fishing. Just fuck it. I can do anything. I can level up a couple of times, maybe get new gear, fancy some new ladies, get into the DLC, and afterwards, yeah, I might go to the final level. Why not?
Time to
So
overlevel.
yeah, it's a bit
It did
RPG.
it did take me 2 years to finally finish the storyline in Skyrim.
Man, I will be honest. I'm one of the few people that think that Skyrim sucks, and is just because, first of all, there's a lot of shitty glitches that, sorry, Bethesda, you need to learn how to properly code physics. And second, the animations when somebody important is talking to you are wonky, and you can just walk away. They are telling you the most important part of the story, and you're like, who cares? I'm gonna steal your cheese. Are you all right with that? So
But
after
Pablo, the bugs are a
30,
feature.
yeah,
All right, hold on. Before
after
you continue, Pablo, we gotta acknowledge the great Brian Yoder, frequent listener of the comic shop. Brian, hey, thanks for hanging out, man. Have a great night. Take care. Well, I'll see you soon. All right. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your crazy donations. Hopefully, one day we'll meet and I can give you the most generous beverage known to man. And shout out to Steve Mitchum. Thanks for dropping in.
Hey,
Hi, Pablo.
what's up, buddy?
okay, it's just
Sorry, I
that.
just need to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no worries. That's my issue with Skyrim. After 30 something hours, I finished the game and I felt like, is that it? Then I went to do a lot of side quests and everything, so it's not my cup of tea. Witcher 3, on the other side, perfect. That's just perfect. It has the right balance, it accomplishes exactly what Skyrim started, but polishing everything. So, and that was my side quest here too, because instead of talking about Nova, I started to talk about video games, exactly like the comic did with this story. Also, can we focus on that cougar that I think Nova said better at the end of the comic when she's like, just as well as I didn't, and who cares what happened to him now? And he's, you know what? You're right. You don't deserve him. That's the mic drop, the perfect situation when he's like, he might be a monster, but you're a bitch.
Yeah.
True enough.
So I will say Nova is way more mature than he looks like. To be honest, the moment when Caps enters and she's there all sexy and want some chocolate, I was like, no, 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 no. I don't like where this is going. Thankfully, came an older man and he slapped the kid. So, god damn it, when it's not one thing, it's another. But if it's not a cougar, it's child endangerment. But okay. Now, also, did you notice that the family, Nova's family, was dining on the house after the whole situation, the whole fire and everything? The house was just wrecked, and they were.
They said they're eating in a house that had been messed. They
Yeah.
said it was messed
Yeah,
up. They
yeah,
said
it
it
would
had been messed
smell
up,
like
but-
smoke in there.
Yeah.
And the walls are crumbling. You can see that the curtains are just completely burnt and everything. And they are
And
just
the
sitting
mom has
there
priorities.
eating.
She's like, no, we can't use the ugly curtains.
Yeah. And when after Nova talks with his father and everything, he goes away and he's like, man, that family is really going to shit real fast. And I'm like, yeah, what make you feel that maybe you were eating in a house completely destroyed and nobody said, you know what, we maybe should go somewhere else? Nope.
Well, the father was just suspended from his job, so
Yeah,
Without
also
pay.
that, and he was.
Hey, the mom wanted new curtains. Come on, she was already thinking of the positive vision for the future. I'm gonna back the mom on this one.
Man, this
She
comic
was
is
looking forward to
about
those new curtains.
dysfunctionality, and it shows a lot. So from the family to the cougar to everything, it was just a weird ride.
Yes.
Right.
But well, at the end, they promise you we are going to the main story now. Maybe. And that's a huge maybe. Huge.
I think they're gonna do it this time. I think they really are gonna do it this time.
Yeah. There, from the get go, that moment when Nova was rounding the house, I was like, okay, tornado powers or something like that. Now, I will blast the wall and get the pipe. Then why were you going around the house at full speed, man? What was all that about?
You've been reading Superman comics. I tell you, the Superman does it all the time. And then he even said, "You can't believe everything you read in comic mags." I guess.
Wait,
Yeah,
a
he
Marvel,
did say that. That's true. Good
a
point,
Marvel
Bobby.
character
He thought
reading Brand X comics? I can't believe that.
Also, Nova remembers when he was getting the powers that he almost killed the doctor, and I'm still like, nobody called the police after that. There was no incident, no filing. The doctor was just like, yeah,
Yeah,
your
where's
son
Shield?
just fired energy blast
Yeah, didn't
at
you
my
report that to
face.
Shield?
Whatever. That happens twice a week now. The mask, it's supposed to be this hard helmet, right? Have you noticed when Nova takes it out, is made out of cloth and folds?
He mentions that.
Well, and they say that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's why
They point it
I
out.
thought was great. I feel that's why I feel like the issue succeeded to a degree because once again we got answers into how a suit works. Because that was something I've always wondered, like, because a lot of superheroes, especially in the early days, their suits were just actually suits. They weren't giant layers of armor. And when you look at Nova, it's like, oh, is that suit or is that armor? Because if you looked at it, you could see why you think it would be armor, but at the same time, like you can also see it being a suit. It's just like, okay, so there's suit, but then there's a helmet for armor. But to learn, it turns into basically an inflatable mask. After I thought that was really cool. I once again know with space technology that seems reasonable and realistic considering the standards that we're playing with.
Yeah, going back to your question, is this cloth or this is an armor? Yes. Yes. That's the answer. It's both. I will say the message of this story is if you die, don't go back to the cougar.
That's the message, yeah.
That's it. You got an out. Take it. Just take it.
It's a MGTOW comic.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Nice.
All right.
What can I say? I enjoy it, but this feels like it's not Marvel at the same time. Yeah. Wolfman. Yeah, I can think that that's the way he will do a comic. It's just it doesn't feel really Marvel. It feels more 20 years previously on DC, maybe. Just not Marvel, if you know what I mean.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you, brother. Is that it for you? You want to cap it off at anything?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Avoid
Cool.
cougars.
Awesome. Even though she was evil, I ain't gonna forgive that.
But she was
I'm
hot,
not
though.
forgive. I ain't letting that one go.
She wasn't
I'm
hot
being that
evil,
guy.
Yep.
She was hot evil.
Killing me. I guess you guys have watched Grace America. I have not seen that, so maybe
What's
the other
that?
boys have here.
Oh yeah,
Greatest American Hero.
Yeah, a bit. It's a little bit like that.
there's some
Mm-hmm.
similarities. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, once again, chat, thank you all for being here. Seriously, I appreciate it. It's been a fun journey doing this original Marv Wolfman, Sabusima, The Man Called Nova series. We have now completed part 2. Next week, we'll wrap up with part 3. And after that, we'll have a few comic shop episodes. And we're working on be bringing on Roger Ryder and the Ginger Ninja for one of those episodes too to promote their new book called Anti Steam Junk Western. And if you think about it in initial speak, it really just says anti SJW. If you actually think about it,
Nice.
and we helped Ginger last night hit his goal on Thursday Night
Oh,
Throwdown.
nice.
Yeah, he hit his goal last night during TNT because he thought he wasn't gonna make any money off it, but he's already made over $2,000, and on top of it, he's over got 20 plus backers. So, and I was backer number 1. And you want to know how I know I was backer number 1? Because I got the receipts. So let me show you said receipt when I backed it. Because when we launched the book during TNT last night, I was just like, "Hey, Ginger, Roger, what's up?"
Ginger
Look
Rogers.
at that. Look at that. Contribution ID is number 1.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Niceness.
I got it done as soon as they launched. Boom. So
Oh wow.
it
Cool.
basically is like a bunch of it's like a Westerns type of story with Vincent Van Gogh type of art is what's going on there. So I'm really curious to see what the story is, and it's definitely supposed to have a few puns and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to anything that's pretty much like that. That's what I like to see. So yeah, we'll be having them on, and we're gonna have a few other guys who I'm working on getting in touch with. And it's gonna be fun the next few weeks, next few months, really. The Comic Shot Talk future is real and it's huge. So, anyways,
Huge.
Huge indeed.
huge. It's gonna be the part where we plug in our channels. And I'll start off with Pablo. And guys, if you look at under the caption where it's got I plugged all the guys' channels in there, so that way you can just click on there. It'll lead you directly to their channels in case you're not subscribed. So Pablo, lead it off.
Hey, yesterday I uploaded a video to my channel. Is me eating a Kentaco because Kentucky has that now. It works. What can I say? Also, I'm working a bit on a video for Mi Message Español. If you like Spanish or crazy stuff, that will be interesting. I'm gonna make fun of the Lord of the Rings. Sorry, but that might be a low hanging fruit, but Amazon, you deserve that. So just take it. Take all the laughter.
Oh, you're
Sometimes you
gonna
gotta
shoot
pluck it.
past 1,000 subs after that, so you'll be good.
Yeah, basically that, man, thank you for having me. I unwind. I have been doing a webpage that is on several languages, including Russian, and that's not working well for me because I don't know Russian. So, yay! But here I got the time to just relax, talk about crazy comic books, and that made my night. So, brother, thank you very much, and everyone. Oh, it has been great talking to you.
Great having you here, buddy.
Yeah, great having you, Pablo. Always love having your wisdom. It's always appreciated on this panel, and to now 61 episodes of this great show that we have done together.
Hell
you have
yeah.
a great weekend. Loved your video on the Kentaco, and guys, Pablo's channels, Geek Tropology, his solo channel of Midnight's Edge Espanol, are both under the caption description, whatever you want to call it. So sub to both channels, see what's up there. And Pablo, I will see you soon, sir. D Bud Martin.
Well, just want to thank you for having me on again, Nick. It's been fun doing these
pleasure.
Reviews of these older books. Thanks to the chat, of course. Love seeing all you guys here every week, and and your comments. I don't really have any content on my channel other than links to these shows we've done here. But I'm out and about in chats, especially on Midnight's Edge channels and related ones like Culture Casino as well. And I wrench for Rise with Purple Valkyrie, Brandon the Anime Guy, and Mead Radio, and some guy named Clobbering Times.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah,
I guess.
watch out for him.
All right, killer. Thank you, D-Bud, for hanging out with us, man. Let's finish off this 3-part journey strong, all right?
Yeah.
Appreciate
See you
it.
there.
And I will see you in many chats for the next week. And, of course, back here for next week for the Comic Shop Talk.
Will do.
All right. Ironcaster.
Yeah, so I'm Ironcaster. You can find me over on my channel, simply titled Ironcaster, where I sometimes do talk about big robots and positive things. I want to bring more people on on a Monday show to talk about the things we love. You can find me on Saturdays over on T-Shirted Historians for the Week in Geek, where we kind of do a continuation of this sort of thing, and I'm going to talk about a lot of tabletop stuff, actually. Tuesday, I'm on Pop's channel, and this week we are going into the new Predator movie, Prey.
I pray that it's good.
And Jay, go check his channel out.
I saw part of it. Good.
Last week we had on the director of Tremors.
Oh yeah, Ron Underwood. That's all.
Yep, thank you. So we got to
Great
pick
movie.
his brain
Love that
for.
movie.
Yep, we got to pick his brain for about an hour or so and talk about that and some of his other projects
nice.
he's doing.
Wow.
So and City Slickers, I might add.
Yes, and City Slickers.
Yeah.
City Slicker. All right, killer. No, dude. Awesome, guys. Once again, Ironcaster, his channel is right under the description. You know where to find him. Caster, as always, man, it's a pleasure. I'll see you soon. And until our paths cross again, clobber times.
Thanks for having me, everybody. Really honored to be here and really appreciate it. It's been such a great time hanging with my buds, talking some old comics. That's what I love to do, as you well know. And what a great chat you have there. You fellas, friends in the chat, thank you all for being here with Nick tonight. And we'll see tomorrow night, Saturday night, Star Trek. Same Trek time, same Klobby channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're in the midst of reviewing Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We're just now starting out in the first season in our ongoing mission to review all of Real Trek 66 through 05. So we got that Monday night. Oh, well, Sunday night, of course, the great Mark D with the C has his Sunday night geekery at 10 p.m. Eastern. If you can make that, it's just us geeking out, just having a little bit of fun late night to end the week. Monday night, Mark C Comics Talk, and all of the rest of my, other than my Star Trek shows this month, will be dedicated to the great Jack Kirby. August is always Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times, and I will have many, many different shows about him. I got all kinds of info and celebrating the greatest creative force of the 20th century, the greatest comic book creator of all time, the king of comics, Jack Kirby. So that's what's going on at Clobbering Times.
All right, Killer Klobby. Guys, once again, his channel is in the description. Sir, it's been a pleasure talking about this run. And as soon as I can open a time and space, we are going to figure out a book you and I can talk about. And trust me, it'll be huge. Okay?
Huge indeed.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I will see you in many chats. And I'm sure I'll see you also on Midnight's Edge next week as well. So always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
And I will talk to you very soon. All right. Well, guys, once again, thank you for the super chats, the direct donations, for supporting the Comic Shop Talk. 61 strong episodes now. It's been absolutely insane. Seriously, this is nuts. And for sticking around for 2 episodes now of the original The Man Called Nova series from Marv Wolfman. And next week is part 3, so we'll be doing that. And also Toxic Tuesday, we'll be talking Airplane as well. That's gonna be fun. And I did a video yesterday on Mark Millar's $2 monthly comic book coming out. I think as far as the big leagues go, that's a huge deal and something that a lot of people are going to be turning their heads about. And I talk about why I think that's important, why it's huge, regardless of opinions. And I did also a video on the thrash metal band Critical Defiance. They're based out of Chile. And well, my video got to their Facebook and they're posting it all over their Facebook and it's got their seal of approval. So check my 2 newest videos out, and I'll have more videos out as well. And of course, you can find me Midnight's Edge After Dark, and of course, with the Dix Division, Nailing It Park Cars, Thursday Night Throwdown as well. Next week, I think we're have Chrissy Mayer actually on for TNT. That's gonna be fun. So yes, guys, you all stay huge. All right, it's gonna be great. And Ginger Ninja we'll be having you on in a few weeks. Seriously, it's gonna be great, guys. Thank you for supporting the show, guys. Seriously, I do appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Have a great weekend. Maybe I'll try to see if I can open up some weekend time and try to actually pop on a weekend show. We'll see. We'll see. Until then, guys, goodbye. Good fight. And lastly, but not leastly,